Hello.
Hi.
What's up?
Hey.
Hi.
Remember how we have to record that extra bit for the second part of Game of the Year for my list?
Yeah.
I thought maybe we could just do that really quickly right now.
Yeah, that's okay.
Cool. This is the second part of Game of the Year. But we have to jump in at the very beginning to notify you of a problem that happens later.
Do you mind that I'm on my phone? Is that okay?
No, that's perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, no. I usually want you to be on your cell phone, and you're always insisting on these expensive microphones.
Yeah, we several times Kylie's tried to get us to transition to the kind of podcast where it's just two people in front of a really expensive camera, but their microphones are just like ear pod
Yeah,
microphones.
I want to have like a garage band podcast, not a
Yeah.
well, I didn't mean a podcast you edit on
Yeah.
GarageBand, but also maybe a podcast you edit on GarageBand.
Yeah. Yeah. Podcast you edit on GarageBand and you record it by holding those microphones that are designed to lay the tree to not touch them. It's
Uh-huh.
designed for them to be down where they hang, but instead we hold them right up to close to our mouths, so it sounds insane and insanely close and boomy and weird. And we hold those in front of our mouths and we talk right into them, and then we edit it on GarageBand.
Okay, so the real reason that we have to do this little bit here is just that I messed up my stupid list yet again. I was
Literally
frantically
2 years
trying.
in a row.
Yeah, like 2 or 3 years in a row, I was frantically trying to shuffle my list around at the last second, and in doing so, accidentally like deleted one or two of the names, and so
And now I feel so bad because you were working on your list for about 2 minutes during the episode, and I was giving you such a hard time about wanting to make sure that you had everything right and in order. Is that how that happened?
no.
Wait, hold on. Is that what happened?
No, what
One
happened
of
was
us, I know that
both.
one of us was like, how the fuck could you not have this exactly done at the start
Yeah,
of the thing? And then
you're
one of us was, I just need 2 minutes to make sure it's right.
yeah, you're right that happened, but that was me
Yeah.
pretending to get mad at you about it. But actually, I
Hmm.
also hadn't done my list either. Was my joke was like,
Okay.
"Hey Keith, you're not supposed to do this now. You're supposed to do this 2 seconds ago." That's everyone. They already heard that. That was on part one.
Okay.
Anyways, sorry. The tragedy was that Monster Hunter Rise got accidentally cut from my list. A true tragedy because that's a great game. It's probably pound for pound might be my favorite Monster Hunter game, all said and done so far.
Wow, even more than the last one that you cared about?
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Like, I don't think any Monster Hunter game is perfect. But they're all kind of generally of the same goodness, and Monster Hunter Rise is right up there. And I think it. I was worried about it on Switch because
Switch.
sometimes a game come out on the Switch and it be running like shit. But that wasn't the case with Monster Hunter Rise. It ran really well on the Switch, so it was good stuff all around. I really liked. They did a great job with their whole, mystical old Japan aesthetic thing. It was a lot of fun.
Okay.
They had the fucking drumming cats in the gathering hall thing. It doesn't sound like anything, but there's great drum music.
I've seen the cats.
A lot of people saw the cats. There's some great little music in the gathering hall, and if you look in the corner, there's two little cats actually drumming. Like their arms are synced in time with the music track. Anytime you're in there, they're really doing the drumming. It's such a tiny thing, but you see it and
Wait,
you
they're
realize
really
like
doing it? It's really was made by cats?
it was. Well, yeah, it was really made by cats. Um, just the actors from the stage musical Cats.
Right, yeah, it was oh god, I can't remember a single cat from Cats anymore, but
Oh, the Rum Tum Tugger.
Right, yeah, pretend I had said the Rum Tum Tugger.
It was the Rum Tum Tugger and Bustafer Jones. I think it was a Bustafer Tugger joint. No, the cats' names are Badum and Tish, of course. But anyway,
are they really? That's cute.
Yeah. The drumming thing, it sounds like such a small detail, and I mean, it is literally a small detail, but seeing it was like, I suddenly realized how rare that is still in video games to see,
to have a small detail like that.
To have, like, a character that's like, oh, I can see exactly the beats that are coming out from their drum hits.
Okay,
and like,
that's fair, I guess.
Yeah. And you know, they hit the rim when it's a rim hit, and like they're really playing it. It looks very nice.
Yeah. Do you think maybe?
I guess you fight monsters also, and that's pretty good.
Yeah, I think it looks pretty good for a Switch game, and also maybe I haven't played this game, but one of my big issues with the two big issues with the last big Monster Hunter game that people cared about from a few years back was, so first of all, I felt it was really visually busy. Like, it just felt like there was a lot of like there was a huge draw distance and a lot of detail to environments, and it made it just hard to look at for me. Like, I just didn't like how much stuff there was to see. It's almost like when you see, like, I don't know, like a CG, like something that's it's meant to look like a picture, but it's CG, and they don't add any sort of like focus, like artificial focus to it.
Sure, yeah.
Everything's in focus, like forever.
Yeah, you really hit it on the head with busy. There was just a lot going on in like most screens in Monster Hunter World.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if maybe the being on a Switch maybe tones that down a little bit, and I wouldn't like get this like bizarre. What's the thing when you?
It seems like it must,
like,
right?
What's that?
It's so hard. It's hard to remember Monster Hunter Rise very clearly because I played it a year ago, but I don't remember it being as visually busy as World was.
Yeah. What's the thing when you see a thing that's like almost like a human face, so it freaks you out?
Uncanny Valley.
Uncanny Valley, yeah. There's also some sort of an Uncanny Valley thing to it that maybe it's like not quite there with the Switch.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that I heard about it was that the monsters are actually like attacking you in this one, like narratively, like the monsters are like fucking with your houses.
Yeah. It's slightly it's a fair bit less I don't know. It's less colonialism than Monster Hunter World was.
It's at least less brutally sad.
Slightly less. I mean, it is kind of.
You're colonizing a place. What's the difference between if the monsters are attacking your village or not? It's still wrong. But at least it's
sure.
They've at least tried to make it seem like there's a reason that you would try to kill a monster, except to build better weapons to kill monsters with.
Yeah, I think that's usually the plot of a Monster Hunter is like, monsters keep attacking this village and they keep getting stronger every time. What's going on? And Monster Hunter World was the one that was different. And they were like, let's go out there and find new, bigger monsters to fuck up.
Yeah. So I've a couple times almost went like, maybe I should buy Monster Hunter Rise. Rise.
It's Rise because Japan is the land of the rising sun, but also Rise because you get a grappling hook. There's a lot of verticality in the maps, and the grappling hook, from what I remember, was pretty fun.
Well, where would this have been if you had remembered that you liked it?
So for a little bit here, basically the way my list shakes out is my number 10 game, the very next game I'm going to talk about on this episode, that's not on my list. That's going to be scratched out. And then at some point near the end, I rearrange my list, and I think Monster Hunter Rise ends up at like number 5.
Okay, so
4 or 5.
Do you want to zap a game out of existence and put this on?
Yeah, I don't want to give it away, but the very next game, I'm like, this is my number 10 game, and you're like, oh, is that really on my list? And I'm like, yeah, it really is. But actually, it's really not. Because Monster Hunter
wow.
Rise.
And then we talked about it for an hour.
No, we didn't.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Is it the one that I'm thinking of?
I'm sure it's the one that you're thinking of.
Okay,
but
then
let's
yeah.
not split it. Let's just let the now on with the show.
I didn't spoil it.
Oh, you know, I sorry. And also, another thing I'm about to talk about is how much I liked Dragon Quest III. But since we record this, I blew through Dragon Quest IV, and that was really good too. And now I'm on 5, and that's also great.
Wow, they keep getting better and better.
They're just so good. And Dragon Quest V, I learned, basically invented Pokemon. It's like you're just walking around collecting monsters and then training them and fighting them.
Right, but it's Pokemon still, though.
What's Pokemon?
Pokemon is Pokemon. Pokemon is the Pokemon.
Sorry, let me check. Siri, is Pokemon? She's not sure. Well, on with the show. Hello. Welcome back to the second part of Game of the Year, Kylie's List. While you were finishing
Kylie's List.
Kylie's List. While you were finishing up your talk about Psychonauts 2, I had a realization, because the whole time I'm like, oh, we still got to get my list out, the whole list. Can we do that before it's like obnoxiously late? And I thought maybe yes, and then I remembered, oh, but what about the part where we have to make the combined list?
But that we've been so fast at that in recent years.
Yeah, you're right. I don't think that'll actually meaningfully add to it. But of
do
course,
you have, by the way, a Google Doc going?
I don't have a Google Doc going this time. Instead, I just have Windows sticky notes. How
are you gonna make the video out of that?
I assume. I guess I'm just gonna do on-screen text. I think it'll be fine. I guess. I think
people love our Google Doc.
Do they?
I don't think anyone cares.
See, that's.
I like to watch the Google Doc when we do the deliberation.
See, that's like extreme. This is extremely a Keith thing. Is like he won't give a shit about the Google Doc for years / borderline refuse to remember it's even a thing we do every single year, and I have to reconvince him that we always do it every year, and then to turn around and be like, what about the Google Doc?
Yeah, where is it?
Where is it though? Yeah, I mean, listen, if I thought that there was a chance there'd be some real deliberation, some real, jockeying for position.
We should at least have a Google Doc for us to look at when we do the combined list.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be part of the video, but...
Okay, what if I just... Nah, it's too late. If you missed the Google Doc, leave a sad comment on YouTube.
It doesn't have to be a sad comment. It should be an on-topic comment in the tone of your choosing. Because I don't want I don't want someone to be like, my grandma died last week.
Yeah, that's pretty sad.
Yeah,
okay,
but it's also doesn't help us know that you missed.
Yes. Okay. Let me say this again. Leave if you're sad about there not being a Google Doc video this year, leave a comment
about
being sad about that.
Yes.
And
thank you.
I will consider if we should bring it back next year.
Thank you for being clear, because as we know, all of the world is full of genies who are looking to willingly misinterpret everything you say for some ironic effect.
Yeah. And frankly, the grandma thing, as Keith brought up, don't mention your dead grandma, because by law of Run Button, I will be forced to respond directly to that comment with nothing more or less than rip to your grandma, but I'm different.
Oh, and I'll be forced to respond with the rip grandma dance.
Rip to your grandma, but I'm dancing. Rip. Still, like, not, I mean, maybe a day goes by, but certainly not a week. There has never been a contiguous set of 7 days where I haven't thought about Rip Grandma.
Rip
Since
Grandma!
hearing about that. You're dead now. Rip Grandma.
Rip Grandma.
Nothing can hurt you. You're dead. Nothing can hurt you. Rip Grandma. and no context will be provided for you to find that on the internet. You'll just have to go your own way on that one.
Yeah.
Okay. So my list this year, kind of thin. Same number of games as usual, but you know, I feel like this was a year where I was assuming that this was going to be a list mostly of games that didn't come out this year, because that's most of what I enjoyed most this year, was playing games from other years. But then I ended up making the list, and it had so many games from the actual games from the year. I was like, okay, maybe the list is only games from this year. But then I blinked and like lost 3 of them, and so now my list has 3 games from previous years at the bottom, and then another 7 on top. But like the numbering, I guess. My point is, I'm not sure about the numbering, the ordering, and I don't know. Listen, these are definitely games I liked this year, for sure.
Is this a year where maybe you should have considered just giving a $5?
No.
Like I did last year.
No.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that was fucking stupid.
I reassessed a few days ago, and I recommit myself to my idea to do 5 last year.
No. Well,
last year was
that's
a
really
game
weird.
where there were no games.
That's so strange, because we know Keith as being the one who's always most concerned about winning Game of the Year. And I thought for sure that after clearly having lost Game of the Year by bringing fewer games, that you would never go back to that, because you were
I won Game
so
of the Year.
utterly,
I had easily the highest percentage of my games on the list.
Utterly destroyed last year.
Are you denying that I didn't have the highest percentage of my games on the list?
There's nothing to deny, Keith. You were embarrassed.
I don't feel embarrassed.
Shamed and driven from your home.
I don't feel embarrassed. I feel like 4 of my 5 games were on the list, and that's 80%. So
okay. Well, first, before I get to my list, I have to rattle off my honorable menchies.
Oh, do I get an honorable menchies section?
You always got an honorable menchies section, but usually you forego the use of it because you're a fool.
I have some honorable menchies.
Every year, I have my list of honorable menchies, and every year Keith tries to be like, we don't do honorable menchies. And I'm like, check every Game of the Year podcast we've ever done, because I always got those honorable menchies.
Let's trade off. Let's do 1 and 1 and 1 and 1 and 1.
Oh, okay.
You can go first, though.
Wow. Dude, you did this to me last year, didn't you?
I don't know. I don't remember anything that happens in any of these.
See, listen, I really wanted to just rattle this list off, though.
When ever have we done that?
Okay. I'll start. I got really sucked into Dragon Quest III 2 different times this year. That's a really great game that I like a lot, and it's probably the best RPG on the NES. So if you felt like you maybe want to check out a classic 8-bit JRPG, but you don't know which of them is the good one, I think maybe Dragon Quest 3 is the good one.
Okay.
Keith?
I played Road 96, a weird, slightly procedural story game where you play a series of teens trying to escape from like an oil dictatorship. And maybe some of you escape and maybe sometimes you get caught. I think it was really ambitious. I think it didn't feel like it knew where it took place. Like there was a kind of like this is nowhere vibe. Like this is America, but also it's the Middle East, but also it's Russia. It was very sort of confused on like who it was skewering.
It always sounded to me like that mixture of settings was extremely intentional.
It was intentional, and I think it was worse. The game was worse for it. But I think that some of the writing was really smart, and some of the characters were really funny. I got to tell this group of terrorists I thought it was a good idea to build a bomb. I obviously don't think that.
I just went back to The Witness, and that game is still tremendous. And I was shocked that like there's still like essentially what's left for me is like The Witness equivalent of finding Korok seeds. But I was even able to find like real puzzles in The Witness that I hadn't found before. Like anytime the fact that The Witness was able to make me gasp with surprise after having played it for 85 hours was shocking to me.
Now, did the thing that reminded you about this was Jonathan Blow being in the news for claiming COVID-19 was man-made and then that he was an anti-vaxxer?
Wow. No, actually. Great stuff. Glad Jonathan Blow has been really getting out there, I guess. Cool stuff.
Yeah, he had like a weird thread about it on Twitter.
Bummer. No, what actually got me back into it was somehow I stumbled into watching people on YouTube solve Sudoku puzzles. But then the guy who solves the Sudoku puzzles, he had a series where he was playing The Witness, and that was really fun to watch because The Witness is much better than Sudoku. That's all.
I'm putting Chivalry 2 on here. I didn't play a ton of Chivalry 2. Like maybe 20 hours of Chivalry 2. I guess it's more time than I put into the Forgotten City, so who cares about time in games? But just like the third best like competitive multiplayer game that I played this year. Really satisfying to like chop people's heads off in Chivalry 2. It was also a like pretty good looking game at a time when there really was nothing to do on my Xbox Series X.
Is that everything? Well, I am somewhat ashamed to admit that I was also sucked into the New York Times crossword puzzle this year for a brief time. So, yeah, I was filling in those letter squares.
How did that happen?
It just, Austin, I guess.
I say how it happened, but I know exactly how it happened because was it Chris Remo and then Austin?
Right. Yeah, I think that's what happened.
Well, I miss out on those because every time...
And weirdly, Chris Remo's daily solve thing,
yeah,
he was inspired to do that by that guy I was watching who solved Sudoku puzzles.
Oh, that's funny. So I miss out on trends like this because what happens is I notice that everyone is all talking about the same thing. And I'm like, why the fuck is everybody talking about the same thing? That's weird. And then I ignore it. And then it's still happening 10 days later. And then instead of just like getting into it like everyone else did at the beginning, I look into it after it's been going on for 2 weeks. And I'm like, crossword puzzles seem fucking annoying as shit. I'm not trying this.
That sounds like me with Wordle this year. Was like I spent like a month straight just like anytime I looked at Twitter, which thankfully is much, much less often than it was last year or any year before that. And I would just see green and yellow squares and get annoyed by not knowing what the fuck anyone was posting these green and yellow squares for, to the point where I like almost stopped seeing them. And then by the time I was like, oh, maybe I should try this Wordle thing, I was like, it's too late. Nobody wants to see my green and yellow squares. They're all done with that.
You just got to be like me and do the green and yellow squares without telling anyone you're doing it.
I guess.
Do you know what it is?
No.
It's a guessing game.
It involves words.
You get 6 chances to guess a 5-letter word. If it's the right letter in the right spot, it's green. And if it's the right letter in the wrong spot, it's yellow. And if it's neither, then it's gray. And so that's why the squares get progressively more green.
Okay, so it's Mastermind, but Hangman.
Sure. But you just go like, you put in a word, you say, like fever. And which is a bad guess because it's got a V and no words have V's, and then it's got 2 E's. So this is a bad word. But then it's like, okay, there's an F in it, but it's in the wrong spot. So you then get another word that has the F in a different spot and doesn't have an E, a V, or an R.
Okay. Well, now I feel less bad about missing out on the Wordle thing because it sounds a lot like Mastermind, and I don't like Mastermind-like puzzles.
It's fun. The problem with Wordle is that you only get one a day. It's a one-a-day puzzle.
Oh.
And so that's why it was very shareable, was because when someone was tweeting out their solution, everyone knew what the eventual word was. So you can see like, oh, that word was sugar, and they like really pulled it out of nowhere. Like they got like 3 words with nothing in it. They just knew the G and they guessed sugar and it was right. That's cool. So that's why it's shareable. It's because there's only one a day and everyone gets the same one. And so, but I was always like, I like the idea of Wordle, but I want to do like 40 of them in a row.
Yeah.
Because that's just how I play games. So yours was the crossword. My next one. Sorry, I have them all scratched out. My next one is Pokemon Unite.
Oh, we can talk about that later.
Okay. And then that might be. Wow, it's sad. I'm not even putting inscription on my. Oh my God. A split gate.
Well,
but we're going to talk about that later, I think.
Yep.
Okay, I'll end with this one. This will be my last one. Wildermyth. That's
yeah.
I liked Wildermyth. I think that the thing that really stood out for me about it was that the like tactics combat of it was really good. I found the writing to be really grating. I know a lot of people really liked the way that it was written, and I guess I think it was specifically more not the way it was written, but the way the way the writing progresses through these stories that you get like procedural events, and then you react to them, and then the story reacts to your reaction, at least partially procedurally. And so you get this really cool thing where there's people like reacting to and talking about, your choices based on randomly generated events. And it does a pretty good job of doing that, but it's the literal words I thought were not written very well. And so that was like a lot of the stuff that I heard about that game was like how good the writing was. And I found it, I didn't talk about it a lot this year because I found it hard to talk about how I thought the procedural stuff was done pretty well, but I thought the writing was actually not done very well. I think I mentioned one time earlier this year that like everyone talks like a 22-year-old, even when they're like old women.
No, that's my least favorite kind of not very good writing.
Yeah, well, it's like it makes sense when the game starts and they're kids, but you play like through their lives. But because the game doesn't know, how old any given character is at the time that the event happens, all the writing is the same, even though like 60 years have gone by. And so that I thought was funny. And by funny, I mean annoying.
Yeah, I think I reached out to you at the beginning of December to be like, hey, should I play Wildermyth for Game of the Year? And you were like, nah, I like the storytelling, but I don't like the writing. And I'm like, that sounds like I can pass.
I did specifically say if you wanted to play a tactics game, the tactics were really good. And I stand by that.
I didn't. So
the tactics were really good. It would have been easier to swallow if it wasn't such a specific kind of writing. Like it's very I don't know. I guess I would say like the writing is very modern. Like the characters like talk and react to things as if they were young people today, but the setting is like fantasy setting. And so I can swallow that pill pretty easily if it's just like, oh, it's just like young people's language today, but it's a fantasy setting, who cares? But then the progressing through time where then you've got a fantasy setting where old people are talking like children. And I'm just very confused tonally. But the tactics are good. I really like the level up system. I really like the like legend thing where you're like bringing in characters from previous runs.
Honey, I lived a totally based life.
It's a little more twee than that.
Sure.
But yeah. So
that's that.
What's that?
Is that?
That's that. That's that.
Wildermyth.
Yeah.
I got a few more that I'll try to speed through. I wrote down specifically not WoW Classic, because I almost forgot there was a whole like month or two at the beginning of the year where I did basically nothing but play Burning Crusade Classic, the first, I guess if anyone doesn't know, World of Warcraft, it's an MMO. It has 1 million expansions at this point. The game fundamentally changes every time they add a new expansion to it in such a way that it is now nearly unrecognizable from how it started. And so a couple years ago, they started, for years and years, the fan base was very vocal about wanting the ability to play the original version of World of Warcraft, which was bad. Now they brought out Burning Crusade, which was better, and that was kind of that was a part of World of Warcraft that I enjoyed a lot and put a lot of time into, but I didn't get to experience all the content in it. And then once the content of an MMO is no longer the newest content, at least in World of Warcraft, it's kind of like it's almost vestigial. It basically doesn't exist anymore in a weird way, not in a way that can be challenging to you. So I got really excited about this being my second chance at playing through Burning Crusade. But then all that stuff about Blizzard came out, and it was all shocking. I mean, some of it was non-shockingly bad, but some of it was definitely shocking in a literal sense.
Right, yeah.
And that made me not very excited about continuing to give Blizzard money, even if it's giving them money for an old game. And so I don't want to miss it again, but I also don't want to play WoW. I was so sad. It was a thing that brought me so much happiness this year that now I look back on not fondly, and it's too bad.
Yeah, it sucks.
Next game was Keith. Maybe you've heard of this one. It's Dr. Langaskov, the Tiger and the Terribly Cursed Emerald, a Whirlwind Heist.
Yes, I have heard of this.
Yeah, so I listened to the podcast, How Did This Get Played? I think it's a great video game podcast, and they did an episode on this game, and they started it by saying, there's no way to talk about this game without spoiling it, so if you want to play it, go play it right now. It's only 15 minutes. And I was like, oh, well, okay. And I played it, and it was very funny. It was a delightful, clever little game that made me laugh. And I said to you that I was about to go ask you, hey, do you know about this game? But then I saw in the credits that it was written by Jack DeKeat, and you were in the special thanks in the credits. So I was like, oh, I guess you already know this one, huh?
I do know this one.
And you said, yeah, originally I was the narrator in that game.
Yep, that's also true. The original crowdfunded version of this game, I was the voice of the game. And then when they went to release it more broadly, the guy who made it, I don't remember his name right now, but he was
Dr. Langaskov.
Yeah, Dr. Langaskov. Yeah, well, no, one of the two main Stanley Parable guys wanted to try to get like a big British actor to be in it, and then that fell through, so they just got a small British actor to be in it. But yeah, that's why it's the special thing.
Yeah.
It's so funny. It was so funny when you were like, "Have you heard of this?" Or you were like, I was about to ask if you've heard of this, but there you are in the credits.
You're in the credits. Which again, it means Keith can have a giant bomb page. Someone go make a Keith Carberry giant bomb page, or don't. Anyways, yeah, definitely. Everyone should go check out that game. It's like free? Is it free? I think it's free.
It might be free. I don't know.
It might be free. It's like I said, it's only 15 minutes. It takes literally no effort from you to play, basically. Like I think I had heard this title and was put off by the fact that it sounds like it's got a lot of stuff going on in it. And but
it doesn't.
maybe you don't have to be so worried about that. Go play Dr. Langaskov. Oh yeah, I finished Quake 1 for the first time this year on Snooze Button, in fact, and I had a decent time playing that. As a pretty fun game. That HD remake that they put out is great, even though I was extremely butthurt about the fact that them putting it out in the middle of me playing the original version of Quake basically prevented me from accessing my save file on the version of Quake I wanted to play.
I have another one to shout out.
What?
Loop Hero.
Yeah, I meant to play that.
Loop Heroes. Wow, you meant to play my whole list, didn't you?
I know. Well, see, it just shows that I have good taste in games. These are all great games that Keith liked, and I meant to get to them.
Yeah, and it just goes to show that I have great initiative. They're all games that Kylie would have liked, and I got there, and she didn't.
Okay.
Loop Hero, that was out in like April.
March 4th.
I ended up playing a pretty decent amount of it, but I didn't finish it. I actually only barely got to like the second of 3 or 4 stages.
Oh, that's another game that's 40% off. I guess there's a sale happening. It feels like there's never not a huge sale happening on Steam anymore.
You're right. There is never not. Well, there's enough games where you could have every game on there go on sale once a year, and you could do that once. You could have it's still hundreds of games a day on sale, or more, thousands.
But Loop Hero $9 right now on Steam.
Yeah, so Loop Hero is a game that I didn't think I would like it based on a lot of the talk about it at the time. But I tried it anyway.
Sorry, real quick. The Steam the big Steam sale that's going on is Happy Lunar New Year. Which is very funny.
Wait, hold on.
I think they mean Chinese New Year, and they're calling it Lunar New Year to, whatever, because that's what it is.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was Googling. I was like, oh, is the Chinese New Year like literally right now? Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's January 24th was Chinese New Year.
What was that game that you were like, if I want to buy it, it's on sale right now? Oh, Suzerain.
Suzerain, yeah. Another game to buy and then not touch.
Nice. Yeah, I'll put
that one's good. It's
put
10,
that on the
it's
shelf
10
right
hours.
next to Hitman's 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah. Maybe you should have a few months of like working through that Steam library.
I mean, I'm doing my best. I'm trying to finish The Witness. That's kind of like working through my Steam library.
I bet over the last couple years, let's just sort of, I think it's time to amputate like 2018 and previous.
What do you mean?
Like work on the stuff from 2019 to now instead of the stuff from a decade ago.
That just doesn't sound like what I want to do. Did you not hear the part where the game I've been having the most fun playing recently was Dragon Quest III from before I was born?
I chose not to hear it.
I pretend I do not see it.
Yeah. Loop Hero is really good. It's been so long that I can't remember the description of Loop Hero that made me think I wouldn't like it versus the description of Loop Hero that I came up with that I think better describes what it actually is. So I don't remember what either of those things are, but your guy goes in a circle and you...
Yes, he does.
Your guy goes in a circle and you give him obstacles, and you want to give him enough obstacles that you make enough resources, but not so many obstacles that he dies. And then there's a sort of persistent town builder.
Because you want him to level up.
Right, exactly. You want him to level up and to get resources and there's a persistent village that you're leveling up with.
This has a great look to it. I know it's pixel art, but it
has a great look.
Like phosphorescent. Oh wait, no, it's not.
Phosphorescent.
Sorry, that was just the trailer. The trailer was making it look like it had lighting effects on it, but it doesn't. The Steam description is, the Lich has thrown the world into a timeless loop and plunged its inhabitants into never-ending chaos, with an expanding deck of mystical cards to place enemies, buildings, and terrain along each unique expedition loop for the brave hero. I feel like it needed a little bit more there, but whatever.
Yeah. So it is a hard game to describe exactly why it's really good, I think. But I think the mathing out how to complete a loop while you're giving yourself more and more challenges is a lot of fun. And having that persistent village is fun. And the game's fun. I mean, I don't know what else to fucking tell you.
I love
just believe me.
I'm buying it right now, so you don't have to tell me anything. My next game, Doom Eternal, was a game that I had bounced off previously that I played again this year, and crucially, perhaps, with mouse and keyboard instead of controller. And I liked it a lot more than I did before, so that was nice. TIS 100 is a great puzzle game that I've never been able to beat the last couple puzzles on, and I thought this time, partially because it's so difficult of a game that it's hard to jump right back into the end of it. And this year I started over from the beginning, and I thought for sure this was going to be my time, and I got to those last two puzzles in the game, and they still kicked the shit out of me, and they remain unfinished. And, Dragon Quest Builders I had a great time with.
Wait, which game was the one with the last two puzzles?
TIS 100.
Okay.
That's from Zachtronics. It's one of those.
Yeah.
In Dragon Quest Builders I've been playing this year. I forgot to bring up that this was you correctly surmised this was that I was playing Yakuza Like a Dragon, and then it got me thinking about Dragon Quest. So then I started playing Dragon Quest Builders, which got me thinking about Dragon Quest 3, and now I'm playing only Dragon Quest 3 and not Builders or Yakuza. My final honorable mention, a great little game that I've been playing that I like to call Ringo Simulator 2009.
Ringo, as in Ringo Starr.
Yeah.
Wait, is this real?
Well, I think officially it was called the Beatles Rock Band, but I just call it Ringo Simulator 2009. No, it was funny.
You're right. That was the official title, was Beatles Rock Band. You're right.
I was playing it recently, and I think like Cheryl didn't know that much about the Beatles, so she wasn't sure which of them did what. And I think she had gotten as far as figuring out, like at some point she was like, "Oh, you're like playing Ringo all the time in this game." And I was like, "Yeah, this is Ringo Simulator." And it took her a couple more days to realize, like, which she was like, "Wait, do they have the other band members in this game?" I was like, "Yeah, I was kidding. They didn't make a game of only Ringo."
I thought maybe Ringo Simulator was
like an indie game,
a little weird indie game that like unofficially was about Ringo Starr.
Yeah, no, I've been drumming along on my Rock Band drums to some Beatles songs for as much as I think my roommates and landlord upstairs will tolerate it. Yeah, it's been a fun little time.
Nice.
But you know, it was funny. The thing I had heard about it was that like Apple was very exacting about like what they were allowed to show the Beatles doing, what they were not allowed to do. You can't do anything that's like ahistorical to the Beatles or something.
And I bet you can't show a lot of things that were historical to the Beatles.
You're right. So I played Octopus's Garden.
Did they show John and Paul watching George lose his virginity?
Oh my God.
Did they show them watching him have sex for the first time? To a sex worker in Germany? As a 16-year-old?
Jesus Christ. I mean, I haven't seen that, but I haven't completed all the challenges yet, so it might be bonus content.
There. Yeah.
There's a photo album I haven't finished, so maybe one of the unlockable pictures is 16-year-old George Harrison's ass. But yeah, so I showed Cheryl Octopus's Garden, I think probably to be like, this is a Ringo song or something like that. And you know, they're under the water for the song. I kind of have a love-hate relationship with the visuals of that game, because it's like, it's really cool that they're under the ocean and there's no octopus. I mean, all right, never mind. But then
never mind, there isn't an octopus, or never mind
that there's not an octopus.
There isn't?
Well, they're under the ocean, and that's like as far as we get.
That's so weird. The song is about hanging out with the octopus.
I think that's so that they can. It's like every song gets a scene that is like reminiscent or evocative of the song, but doesn't get to be literal. Like, all the visuals of Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds are very psychedelic, but none of the psychedelia is what they are describing in the song. You know what I mean?
I just don't understand why not.
I think it would. Well, I think it's like. I think it was like an extremely budget-strapped production, because they spent most of the money on letting the Beatles use their music or whatever.
If I had to pick one song, though, to portray literally what was going on, it would be, we would sing and dance around because we know we can't be found. I'd like to be under the sea in an octopus's garden in the shade. We would shout and swim about the coral that lies beneath the waves. Oh, what a joy for every girl and boy, knowing they're happy and they're safe.
Okay. I know, but you get them walking around under the sea. You just don't get the octopus, is all.
And I also wanted to have a little Santa hat and beard because of the line where he'd let us in, knows where we've been. Because I think it's sort of, I sort of think of it sort of implies that
he's Santa.
He's Santa Octopus.
All right. So anyways, I move on to She's So Heavy. But here's the thing, right? Is there, because now that I've watched Get Back, I'm a Beatles expert.
Right.
And they're playing She's So Heavy on the Apple Records rooftop.
What?
And I'm like, hey, they didn't play this on the rooftop. And then Cheryl calls from the other room. Yeah, they didn't sing the other one Under the Ocean either. It's pretty good.
Okay, but one is about the ocean, and She's So Heavy is not about a rooftop.
No. Yeah. Cheryl didn't actually know what I meant. It was just a funny coincidence.
She doesn't know about the rooftop?
Oh, she knows about it now. Oh, I've been educating her. We've been rewatching Get Back. It's so
Cheryl
fun.
strapped to a chair with her eyes kept open like Clockwork Orange.
Well, it's funny because, like, it is a little bit...
Look at this little look that Paul and John share right there. What do you think about that?
You're like... You're only, like, 10 degrees off. But the thing is that I think the reason that Cheryl tolerates it is that I think she is also the kind of person that, like, if she's gonna know a story, she wants to know every detail of the story. You know? So I think it's been working out. I think we're okay.
Okay.
I think we're okay over here. And yeah, that's my honorable menchies.
It's a long honorable menchies, but
it was, but only because I had someone trying to butt in.
That's not true. We spent
double
the time on yours than on mine.
But I had more than double the amount of games on mine. So
I think it was fewer than you think. More.
Okay. So now we've gotten past all the trash games that don't deserve to be on my list. We can get to the truly phenomenal games that deserve to be enshrined forever in the annals of Run Button Game of the Year. Games like number 10, Honey Pop.
Oh my god. So I don't know what Honey Pop is, except for that. Here's the story of what Honey Pop is to me. I saw you playing a game called Honey Pop on Discord because you have the setting on that shows people what you're playing. And I thought to myself, she must not know that setting's on.
And you were correct about that. I did not know that, and I felt very embarrassed. But then I was surprised that you didn't know what the game was.
Yeah, I had
Anyways, it's just some fucking hentai bejeweled game.
Great.
And frankly, the word hentai oversells this. Let's be clear.
This is just a titty game.
Yeah, basically. So I know of this game for a number of years. It's on Steam. It's constantly
sounds like you know
advertised.
of it very deeply.
Well, now I know it intimately. It's been here and there, and I'm thinking to myself, why the fuck would I ever want to play this stupid ass hentai bejeweled game? That sounds so stupid. But then I was listening
let's just play it as a joke.
Yeah. No. I put it on my list as a joke. The whole thing's a joke. Don't you get how funny this is?
The multiple times that I saw you playing it on Discord's a joke. Long con.
Yeah, no, but you see why it's on my list, though, right?
Because it's just so funny that you would put it on your list, and even that you even think that you'd like it.
No. It's that like for 3 or 4 days, I couldn't play anything else because all I wanted to do was play Honey Pop. And I'm like, well, it has to go on the list then. So what happened was, Keith, I heard an episode of How Did This Get Played where Nick Weiger talked about having been playing Honey Pop and him being like, no, but the thing is, the bejeweled part of it is actually, there's like a fun twist on the gameplay, and it's actually a really fun puzzle game.
This is the I go for the wings of Hooters.
I don't know what that means, but I do only read the articles in my Playboy subscription. So yeah, I'm listening, and I'm like, all right, well, listen, if Nick Weiger can talk about playing Honey Pop on his video game podcast, Surely nobody could condemn me for doing the same thing. So I checked it out, and he wasn't wrong. The Bejeweled part of that game is really good. The mechanical twist on it is that instead of swapping just gems that are right next to each other, I mean, this is not the first game to have this feature, but you can click on a gem and you can slide it to anywhere in the row or the column. You know what I'm saying?
That makes it easier though?
It makes it easier if the game was made to be as hard as Bejeweled is without that maneuver, but instead the puzzle gameplay of Honey Pop 1 gets kind of brutal.
Okay.
But it's also because
maybe obviously they made the game slightly easier so that you can uncover the nipples faster.
So you can just get to the titties. No, it's like the opposite. They really want you to work for those titties. And I guess it worked because I got sucked in instead of sucked on. Wait, God, come on.
Come
on. So it's like it's one of those make the numbers go up life sims. So it's like you have different stats that are like, this is how charming you are, this is how, I don't know, smart you are,
so
something
like a
like
dating
that.
sim
It's a whole dating sim.
It's not just like play Bejeweled, see a picture.
No, it's like it's all like, these are the locations you can go to. These are the girls. These are the, they all have a different location they'll be at certain times of day, at certain days of the week. They all have different likes and dislikes.
Is Honey Pop 1 your pick?
Honey Pop 1 is my pick because I've only played a little bit of Honey Pop 2. And while there's definitely more them titties in Honey Pop 2, I'm not sure that it's as compelling as a game. And also, the writing and characters of Honey Pop 1 are pretty much very bad across the board.
Number 10.
In like a very cringy, not to shock you, Keith, but this game really seems like it was written by a bunch of straight guys. And I know that sounds shocking, but it is possibly true. And the characters and the stories of Honey Pop 2 seem even more annoying without the game being any more interesting to make up for that. I don't know. Maybe we'll see. I hope everyone stays on the edge of their seat for next year to see if Honey Pop 2 makes it.
Who's your favorite girl?
I am having a hard time remembering them all.
Oof.
I know, it's just how much of a player I am. That's just the Honey Pop life. Gosh, Keith, I don't want to spoil it.
Do you need me to read out the names to help you decide?
Well, no. Well, here's the thing, Keith, is actually, I think I do know which one is my favorite, but it's actually one of the secret unlockable girls that shows up at the end after you've finished every other girl.
Right.
And I don't want to give it away.
Okay. If I say it, you'll have to bleep it out. But is it Celeste loving that ass?
Wait. Is that...
This character must be unlocked, yeah.
She's
an alien bounty hunter. Her birthday is July 20th.
Oh, no. Sorry. It's not that character. But this was my first learning that the character's last name is Lovin' Dat Ass.
I guess it's Lovin' Diaz.
Lovin' Diaz. Yeah. Okay. Well, no, it's not that character.
Is it?
Sorry, Keith. Swing and a miss.
Is it Theatna Venus? The love goddess? September 1st, birthday, September 1st, age 10,000?
I think that just got bleeped out. So
okay.
So to Keith, yes. To everyone else, keep guessing. Just because that character's dialogue was funnier than
to unlock Venus as a dateable character, the player must first date and have sex with all 8 of the main human cast and Q.
And I'm pretty sure that's like a oblique Star Trek reference.
Q Sugar Dust, the love fairy.
Oh, yeah, sorry. There's a love fairy. She's there to shepherd you through going from an unfuckable incel to being a total
The most
Chad.
fuckable.
Yeah, the most
Duracell.
fuckable Chad. And yeah, so that's that. Yeah, it's really strange playing this game because it seemed to keep ping-ponging back and forth between having like the mentality of like, I don't know, like a Bang Bros porn video, and then sometimes it would be like you're actually getting to know this character. It's really strange. It's like they couldn't like, it's weird fucking game. I couldn't stop playing it because I had to keep making those numbers go up.
Number 10.
That was number 10.
Yeah. I'm just proclaiming it.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Just real quick, mechanically, it's like you have all these stats, and the stats make you do better at the Bejeweled. So sometimes if your stats are not good, you'll be bad at that Bejeweled. You see.
What is do the rows come faster or what? Oh no, Bejeweled doesn't have rows. What makes
It's more like the jewels that you collect translate into points, and they'll translate to more points if certain stats are higher. Also, there's all kinds of like special single-use items that will do things to the Bejeweled board. So when you're going into a date with a girl, you need to make sure you're equipped with all the right things.
Right. Because you don't want to go on a date with the cat girl without like a string, like a mouse on
without
a string.
A piece of yarn. Yeah. Piece of yarn, mouse tied to a stick, these kinds of things.
Catnip.
Yeah.
Milk.
These are all cat things. Maybe you could take her on a date into space, so you could put on your Spartan cat ear helmet, and it would fit right on her. Number 9 is another game from previous years. This is Slime Rancher.
I saw the worst picture. Do you want to hear me? You want to hear this picture that I just saw? It's bad.
Is it even worse than this decrepit ghoul looking unsmiling over this big yellow sheet of paper that he's drawn a smiley face on?
It is worse than that, yeah.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Because you're like, you weirdly don't know, you're not as online as me, I think, and so it's possible that you'll see this image and not know exactly who all three of them are. But let's...
Okay.
How do I want to... Sometimes if you copy an image from Twitter, it doesn't exactly do it right.
What is this going to be?
Here we go. Yeah. Who do you see there?
Oh no.
What do we see there?
Well, I mean, I think I'm seeing nothing more and nothing less than Elon Musk, Jordan Peterson, and Joe Rogan
standing in front of
a dirty Cybertruck, and all with their arms around each other's shoulders.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And by the way, I don't think that's a dirty Cybertruck. I just think that's how Cybertrucks look.
Wait, there's also a red arrow pointing at something on the front of the truck.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. I don't know why that is.
God, Jordan Peterson is such a bizarre person.
Yeah, totally.
Like I'm like
I
Elon
missed when
Musk.
he was dead.
Dude. Yeah.
Remember when for like almost 2 years he was dead? That was great.
But I remember you telling me about that recently.
He was extremely sick and potentially in a coma and like living in Russia while he recovered for like almost 2 years. He had a period where he was sort of out of the limelight because he was addicted to painkillers, and then he was on some weird paleo diet that almost killed him. And the combination of those two things and then the treatment for that, like left him really, really sick. And there was rumors for a long time that he died, and I basically spread those rumors as if I knew they were true because I thought it was really funny. And even insisted after he started returning and going and doing podcasts again that they were being released by his daughter who murdered him. as a way to trick people into thinking he was still alive. And unfortunately, he has come fully back into the limelight, which I didn't think was possible because he is a ghoul and the limelight should have melted him.
And we do love the vest that he's got on in this picture. Nobody could condemn that vest.
No.
But
I think he's a little overdressed.
I mean, you should have already known that because you were going to be standing next to Joe Rogan and Elon
Good
Musk.
news, though. Elon's shirt says terminal. I think he probably got that at the hospital.
No, that's his next project. He's going to be, he's already revolutionized space travel and city traffic. Next, he's going to be revolutionizing security lines at airports.
He's blown up spaceships in the sky. He's blown up cars on the roads. Where next for Elon Musk to cause an explosion?
Did you watch that 2-minute video I sent you?
Maybe.
That was called like Elon Musk solved traffic or something.
I don't know. What was it?
It wasn't. It wasn't really anything. But, it was just like a recap of like, this is a very quick recap of like the Hyperloop thing. And like, here's the original concept, then the extremely downgraded concept, and then the further downgraded
People
production
forget that
thing.
the original concept was like a magnet cannon that launched a tube full of people at hundreds of miles an hour.
No, I mean, it was even less than that. It was like, well, I guess there was something to that effect, but there was also like that concept video that was like your car will go down an elevator in the street and it'll be locked into a magnetic car trolley that will rocket it through the tunnel. Mm-hmm. Anyways, it just goes through that in about 90 seconds, and then it starts playing, I believe it's like also Sprock Zarathustra as a video of a car going down one of like the Las Vegas loop tunnel, and it just comes around the corner and you just see like a line of like 40 cars all lined up waiting to go through the tunnel.
Yeah, the big moment of like people finally going into his stupid traffic tunnel and to find immediately that it was full of traffic.
Yeah.
And by the way, I don't know how the goddamn thing ever got built, because what if one car breaks down?
One car
breaks down, and then you've got miles and miles of backed up cars that can't do anything because it's only wide enough barely for one sedan.
Without opening the doors.
Right.
People can't even get the doors open in the tunnel. It looks
like an absolute death trap. I mean, it's the only thing that you would build if you were literally stupid. Like, like stupid in a way that I like ideologically don't even believe is possible.
Could I tell you?
Yeah.
Elon Musk might be that stupid.
He might be. He's the exception that proves the rule. He's like the genuinely born stupid person on a planet full of people who are not that.
I couldn't remember how we got here, and then I looked at my list and realized I haven't even said my next game, or I said my next game, and that's all that happened. So
sorry,
I don't remember.
Just the picture. I just saw this picture on Twitter.
It was Slime Rancher.
Oh, Slime Rancher.
Slime Rancher I'm including for two reasons. One, I played a bunch of it this year, and it still totally kicks ass, and I really enjoyed it. And the other reason is because there was a year not too long ago where I put Slime Rancher on my Game of the Year list. But then somehow it got removed and I didn't notice. And then we were sitting down about to record and I look at my list and I count and I realize I only have 9 games on my list. That's great. I can fit an extra game on here that I didn't have on it before, and I put something else on, and Slime Rancher got totally snubbed.
Wow.
Famously snubbed by Kylie at Game of the Year. Yeah, it's a snub and a flub. So I always felt really bad. Slime Rancher, fantastic game. Anyone who's a fan of those like cutesy farming sim type things, check it out. You get a vacuum gun. You have a gun that can suck up items and slimes, and then you get to shoot them back out. Oh, it's so good.
I wish I had put a little more time into this. I played it a few years ago, and I was like not having the greatest time in the world. I was liking it. I was doing like some task that I didn't like as much as the previous task. I can't remember what it was, but it was like 5 hours in. And then I like lost save progress and never went back.
That's rough.
Just one of those. Sometimes it happens. You play a game that you only kind of like, and then you lose your save, and then you're just like, well, I guess that's just gone.
Yep. That's the Harold and Kumar we've gone too far principle. Yeah, even my daughter, she got into Slime Rancher this year, so it probably would have been on her.
So you can say she got into Harold and Kumar.
Too young
for that.
She's a bigger fan of Escape from Guantanamo Bay.
She's a huge fan of stoner comedies as a genre. Oh, and she's smoking hella weed.
Yeah, she's smoking hella weed. I got nothing. Moving on. I am more interested in finishing my list than making more jokes.
Do we need to take a break?
No.
Do we need to come back on Monday or Tuesday to finish this?
No, we need to just get through my list.
Okay.
My next one, Frostpunk. That was my depressing doomsday therapy game. Was Frostpunk, a game about, it's like a city building game, kind of a Sim City-ish, not the best analogy, but it's a top-down city builder, where you are managing a settlement of people in some kind of ice age, and so it's like basically the whole Earth is blanketed in fatally cold temperatures, and you have to build a settlement where people are kept warm, and in the center of the city is like a huge heat generator that looks like a crazy engine, and it looks fantastic. It's really fun to play, and I avoided it for years because it just sounded too depressing, and I think, as I said on our snooze button episode of Frostpunk, I think finally the world caught up to Frostpunk in terms of how depressing it was, and so finally Frostpunk became escapism. And so I had a ton of fun playing that and fantasizing about how easy life would be if all we had to do was not freeze to death.
Brr.
For the record, I don't actually think that life would be easy if we had to worry about freezing to death.
Well, I'll say this about Frostpunk. There's factions, right? Like, you can make different people happy or sad with what you're doing. But there is an escapism to being like a god hand whose every whim is enacted, where you're like, sure, it may be freezing cold there, but everything I do is executed perfectly according to my will. You get to be the dictator of your little world.
Yeah, perfectly according to your will, unless the people turn on you and exile you out into the cold to die.
Okay, but mostly,
yeah. Yeah. Frostpunk 2, I think, is coming out like this year.
They're making another one. That's cool.
Yeah,
they did a different punk game, right? This is the second in the punk series.
Oh,
am I not wrong? Am I wrong?
I don't know about that. I think there's just I think there's Cloudpunk, but I don't think that's them.
No, not Cloudpunk.
It's like a lot of people doing punks. Cyberpunk.
Frostpunk. Frostpunk only $7 right
Billy
now.
Idol.
It's 75% off.
Damn, go snag. It's that Lunar New Year. These are lunatic prices. Anyway. I should mention. I guess one of the drawbacks of that game is there's politics in it. You can be a fascist if you want.
Politics, huh?
You can be an ice fascist. And I think also I never finished the main scenario because I wasn't good enough at the game. But I think if you finish that, then there's like there's some further story episode where it, like, the politics of it, I think, get more complicated. because I think people show up to your city who like got left behind by the people in the city, and or I think it's like things get. You know what? I'm not gonna try to guess. I don't remember. But it is a mechanic in the game where people, more people will show up to your town, and then you have to find a place to house them. But then you also have more people to set to work.
Get to work, you.
Get to work, you. And the whole cities are circular, so they look like Midgar in the snow, which is fun.
Frostpunk looks cool. It looks tough. It looks kind of bleak, but hey, what isn't?
Yeah, it. But what isn't? You know what else is bleak? Inscription, number 7.
Ooh, you kept it.
It was higher. I bumped it down. Inscription is at least the first act that I played was a card-based roguelike type game, a roguelike deck builder, sorry, is what they call them, that takes place in a cabin that is very darkly lit, and it's spooky and oppressive, and there's a figure who is shrouded in shadow that you can't see except for their creepy glowy eyes, and they are sort of like the DM of the card game. They play every enemy and supposed character you encounter. It has this extremely cool lo-fi, like low res and low poly look to it, with like very cool video effects and like audio distortion effects. It all just combines to be like this really kind of immaculate aesthetic.
That's
exactly
in the word part. I was about to say. The first act of this game is immaculate. I mean, it's so good. Literally everything about it is pitch perfect, and it's great. It's just one of those things that you and I.
Anna Kendrick?
What's that?
Is Anna Kendrick in there?
Yeah, she's in it. Yeah. She plays the guy with the eyes. That's Anna Kendrick. She's got range. And I think she also plays the weasel.
Oh, you mean the stoat?
The stoat, yeah. Which is a weasel, which we all know.
Of course, if we were one of those video game outfits that did like a top 5 new characters of the year, of course the stoat would be on the list. We all know that.
We both noticed this game appear fairly briefly at like the Microsoft
it was like
E3
the Microsoft E3 indie, the indie jamboree video trailer.
Yes, the indie jamboree.
Whatever the fuck they're calling it this year. It was just their fucking highlight reel of indie games.
Yeah, and we both noticed it during that, and I think did we both sign up for the beta?
I think so.
And I think we both got in because we both were like, oh, we just have the game. If you sign up for the beta and they let you in, you just have it.
You just have it. And then the game came out, but they didn't kick you out of the beta. Right. It was just like, well, we need people to beta test new patches, so
yeah, totally. Yeah, so that was great. So you both got it for free, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's a great price to pay for Inscription.
Yeah.
The difference between you and I was that you beat the first chapter and moved on and was very disappointed, and I just could not beat that first chapter no matter what I did.
Really? You know that they give you not just the more you play it, they just give you like the tools to break the game, just like totally break it.
I mean, I think totally break is maybe an exaggeration.
It's literally not an exaggeration. You can build yourself a card that does like 30 damage a turn, and then also gives you another copy of the same card.
Okay, well, it sounds like one of us is better at Inscription than the other one.
Okay.
I mean, I got really close the last time I played. Like, so close that it was like I didn't even want to keep playing, because it was like
Did you get to the final boss?
I don't remember.
Okay, we'll bleep it out. Did you battle?
Oh, no.
Then you did not get to the final boss.
Well, I never claimed to.
Okay. So here's the strategy guide. You buff up, one of your cards at the like sacrifice places, right? You take your best card or your like most powerful card and you buff it over and over and over again. And then when you die, you do that thing where they make like the picture card of your face, and it gives you like, hey, you can pick the cost of the card from these cards, and you pick a low cost.
I did play the game.
Okay, I thought maybe you didn't
just
put this together.
I just wasn't like, I don't know.
Okay, just that mechanic. The more you get into it, the more exaggerated it gets, because you eventually end up with cards that have like weird powers, and you can apply those weird powers to cards that have like really strong attacks and really weak or low costs.
I mean, but every time I restart, I just have the same 3 animals.
No, your deck has the you're like, or you will
the
draw
face card,
those.
I guess, but like it's only as good as whatever was with me the previous run,
right? And so that's what. Well, but then you can redraw those cards back into your deck.
Here's the real thing: I don't like roguelike deck builders that much.
This is game 7 on your list.
I don't. Well, that's how good it was.
The vibes were immaculate.
The vibes are immaculate. It can't be denied. I mean, listen, it's not just a deck building roguelike. It's a deck building roguelike that is actually scary.
Yeah.
Not in like a Magic the Gathering way where like the pictures are gross, but just like the game's actually scary.
Yeah.
Did you get numbers?
Did you get the eye?
Yes.
The magic eye?
The magic eye. Oh, no, sorry. I thought you meant any eyes, and I have 2. So yes.
Okay, but you did get the magic eye.
Yeah, I got the magic eye. You mean the thing where you like have to point your eyes at 2 different directions and then you can see a hammer?
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yep.
So number 6 is Pokemon Unite.
Ooh, that's high.
Yeah. It's pretty high. It's actually, I lowered it. The number, I think I've established that the ordering is almost arbitrary on this list. Pokemon
Unite.
Unite.
Honeypop might as well be number 1.
It might as well be, honestly. But Wild Honeypop is growing on me. Okay.
But it's only 30 seconds long.
It's only 30 seconds long.
Pokemon Unite.
Okay. Pokemon Unite.
What can we say about Pokemon Unite?
Here's what I can say about Pokemon Unite. I think Pokemon Unite is a great game because it is a MOBA, a multiplayer online battle arena, a la Dota, a la League of Legends, etc. I think it does a really great job of taking the some of the mechanics and most of the like, I don't know, gameplay vibes or whatever that you're looking for out of a MOBA game like Dota, but it takes it from like a 45-minute experience and condenses it all down into like 5 minutes. Plus it's got Pokemon and there was 1 million people playing it. I had a great time with Pokemon Unite.
Nice.
What do you think about Pokemon Unite?
I really liked Pokemon Unite. I actually several times recently thought about replaying it and it just didn't happen. I considered it for my list. It made it to basically my last like real.
Yeah. I think you got ruined by that Zapdos life. So I think what happened.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, you rode too close to the lightning. You can't just live that Zapdos life 24/7. It catches up with you.
Yeah, I was zapping the candle at both ends. But no, I really liked it. I like the MOBA format. It's sort of like the opposite of battle royale games for me, where it's like I really like the format, but a lot of them are too complicated. and like the complication actually works against, I think, the base gameplay, versus a battle royale where I think that the more complicated they are, the better, but that the base gameplay, I think, is like basically broken. Like I just think it's like a sort of cursed genre for me, where I'm like,
cursed genre.
It's a cursed genre.
Yeah, no, like roguelikes are almost that for me, or maybe just card-based roguelikes.
Yeah. Did you ever play Slay the Spire? Did you play Slay the Spire?
Yeah, I've got that one. I just didn't stick with it because I didn't like it as much as every other person on the planet.
It's a good one, but yeah, maybe you just don't
That's
like
what
those.
everyone but me says.
I mean, it didn't ever end up on one of my lists, I don't think. So it's not like I was that in love with it either.
You fucking love Slay the Spire.
I like it.
You can't get enough of it.
I like it.
You
fine.
can't get enough of it, you fucking sicko.
But yeah, I think it's like one of the best MOBA games. I think the only other MOBA game that I really like, even though I think that the core gameplay of all of them are the same, and it's good. It's a good core gameplay. Is Heroes of the Storm, which, much like your WoW thing, is a game that the idea of playing it makes me really not happy. So I just haven't played it in a really long time. Yeah. But like, yeah, I think that it complicates. It's complicated just based on like interactions. Like it doesn't have to have all these layers on top of it because the matchups between two characters are like full of tension and judgment and like micro decisions, and you have to be really on top of it or you will die, because that's just how these games are. Like you make like one or two mistakes and you're just like boom, dead. Like even if you feel like you're really set up and really leveled and you know your moves and you feel good at the game, and it's like, oh, I put myself in the wrong position for 2 seconds and now I'm just toast.
There was one kind of bad thing about Pokemon Unite though, is that it has like a sort of play to win aspect to it, because there's like
pay to win,
basically like permanent bonuses that you pay for or something.
Yeah.
Something to that effect.
Yeah, it ended up being like a really complicated thing to do. Like I remember people being like, oh, fuck Pokemon Unite, it's pay to win. And I was like, is it? Like where? And then I looked up how to do it, and it was like not easy to figure out how to do. And I was just like, oh, I never would have known that you could do this.
Yeah, I think people just really, really don't want money to be traded for things that make your character better at stuff.
Yeah.
Like, just fundamentally.
Yeah.
And who could blame them? Okay, number 5, Halo Infinite.
This game rules.
That game is really good. I enjoyed the multiplayer a lot. I did not play it as much as I played Splitgate, but that's also because Splitgate was out sooner. So I think I was just... I doubled up on Halo this year. Splitgate, a Halo game, and Halo Infinite, another Halo game. I was very disappointed that the campaign did not have co-op, and so I have not played much of the campaign, and to be perfectly honest, I'm kind of putting it here on my Game of the Year list with the assumption that when I do go play more of the campaign that it will be fun.
Mine is on my list just based on the multiplayer. If the campaign turns out to be dog shit, it still lives up there.
It's still good.
What is this? Maybe not for broadcast.
Huh?
This is just an interesting looking game.
Oh,
sorry.
Okay, there's a game called Not for Broadcast.
It came out 5 days ago. I'm just seeing that it just was on Twitter.
Okay.
I mean, not on Twitter, on like the Steam front page.
You know, okay. Would Halo be much lower on my list if the campaign was bad? Yes, I guess it would. I mean, what I played of the campaign was good. If I had played a lot more of it and really, really liked it, I'd probably put it higher on the list. I'm basically, at this point, I'm waiting for co-op to come out because they're adding co-op. So since I fell off the game and stopped playing it for a month and a half, I might as well wait the remaining 3.5 or 4.5 months until co-op. I guess.
I just can't believe the thing about that game that I keep coming back to is like how after 6 years is it so featureless? Like they had so long. This is not a rushed game. Like I don't understand. Like even with the pandemic, even with all the turmoil, like studios leaving, like but it's not like I'm not really blaming anyone. But it is like there's got to be a story there because the Halo Infinite at launch was not a 6-year in development game. Like it just was not.
But I mean, sometimes that happens, right? Like sometimes developments for games go so badly that they basically get rebooted halfway through. And the answer to why did this game take 6 years is it didn't. It took 3 years, but we threw away the first game that took 3 years.
But we just don't have those answers, and that's what I'm saying is like, like where did that time go? If it didn't go to having co-op until 6 months. Like co-op is so broken that it's taking 6 months to release it. Like that's wild.
And this I felt like, and maybe this is just my perception, maybe nobody cared. Maybe not even the biggest Halo fans care about co-op, and I'm the one person. I seriously doubt that. But this was like my big complaint about Halo 5 when that first launched, was that there was no local co-op, and the whole campaign was designed around co-op, but online only co-op. And that was like so disappointing. And I frankly had already kind of like, I was still wondering if it was going to have local co-op. It certainly does not have that. Like now it doesn't even have the online co-op. Oh boy. But your thing about like how did this game take 6 years to make? That reminds me, I've been watching Cheryl play through Zelda Skyward Sword for the first time, and just thinking the exact same kinds of thoughts in my head. It was like, how did this take 6 years? What is this? I think every 3D Zelda game, my opinion has been improved upon it by playing it a second time.
Except
not Skyward Sword. Yeah. And even Cheryl went from, at first I was like, doesn't this game suck? And Cheryl was like, I don't know, I'm having fun with it. And so I was like, oh, okay. And then eventually one day Cheryl was like, I quit playing last night because this game is so bad.
Yeah, I've like weirdly, I guess it's not weird because no one liked it, so why would I? But I've had almost no exposure to it. Like I kind of know what it looks like, and I kind of know that it's like Sky Islands, but I don't really know anything about it.
I mean, frankly, if you knew everything about it, you might not have that much more to say about it.
I know about the weird like motion controls that seem like they're like kind of bad, but. Yeah.
There's motion controls in there. They're not like the worst thing ever. There's just like nothing else going on. Anyway. My number 4 game is it's really a game within a game. Because my number 4 is Bowser's Fury, which was sort of like the add-on / pseudo expansion to the Super Mario 3D World re-release. I still don't know that my opinion on Super Mario 3D World has changed at all. I think it's fine. I think it seems like a fun game. Kind of like those co-op side-scroller Marios. It's like they're specifically fun for multiplayer if you have 2 to 4 people of similar Mario skill, a lot of patience for like from accidentally being bumped into a pit by your friend, or 2 to 4 friends that all agree that they want to throw each other into pits or whatever. You know, it's like one of those games where like the multiplayer seems fun if you could get 4 identically like-minded people to play it together, but I don't know that has ever happened for anyone. Does that make sense?
I think that you may be underestimating a group of people's willingness to throw each other in pits.
Maybe.
Like
I
think that
what
the
I'm
default...
saying is, I maybe what I really just want to say is, it sucks that there are these Mario games Mario, a series famous for its appeal with children, that like I can't play with my kids because like if one person is significantly better than everyone else, then they like all the other people just fall into pits and die, and you just play the level by yourself.
Right. Yeah, I think. What about being worse makes you fall into pits and die? Do you create pits by being good?
No, you're just bad, so you fall into the pits.
But wouldn't they fall into the pits if they were playing by themselves anyway?
Oh, wait. Okay, no, sorry. My brain just works less and less every year. Maybe what I'm actually thinking about is that at the end of the level, it like tallies up a score for everyone, and it says this is the person who won, and it literally puts a gold crown on their head for like the next level. Like they do the next level wearing a golden crown, and I think it's just like they try to do the competitive co-op thing, but it's like too competitive for my daughter, and she just always gets upset because she never wins the crown, because of course she doesn't, because she's 6 and I'm 31. You know. So maybe it's just not friendly co-op enough. But fucking anyways, that's not even the game I'm talking about, because that game got re-released on Switch, and it had what I thought was just going to be like a level pack for Mario 3D World, just called Bowser's Fury.
But it's like a whole other thing.
It's like its whole own game. It's like, what if we took the mechanics of Mario 3D World that are very much based in Super Mario Brothers, like, you know, you hold the run button to run fast, you jump on, you know, Koopa's heads to leave a shell that you can kick.
We did this on Snooze Button, and you tried really hard to explain to me how each thing was. It was like 2D Mario but 3D.
So the problem is, though, okay, just pretend that someone besides you is going to hear this,
okay,
and they might get it in a way that you don't, because you don't like or play Mario games.
Okay.
Well, it's weird because you have 2D Mario, you got 3D Mario.
2D,
They're
3D.
pretty different.
Okay.
Then you have 3D Land and 3D World, which are these like kind of hybrids of the two. It's like a lot of the mechanics and level structure of 2D Mario, but with 3D graphics and like semi 3D levels. And then Bowser's Fury subdivides that even further, where it takes Super Mario 3D World and pulls it out of the very rigid linear Mario courses and puts it into a big open world that is sort of akin to Mario Odyssey in a way, where you're like, you know, you're traveling around this open world and there's just kind of stars and different little goals that you can achieve all over the place.
Mario Odyssey, but with the trappings of 2D Mario.
Yeah, but it's even more just one open world than that,
because it's literally just one sort of
one world
size map.
Yeah, it's a large map. You know, in a world where we have Breath of the Wild, nothing will ever look like a big open world again. But you know, for it's certainly the biggest open world Mario play space that's ever been made. And it's all the whole thing is like an island. All the game land. What the fuck am I saying? It's all islands in the ocean. It's all islands in the ocean, and you have a big water dinosaur thing that looks kind of like a Yoshi.
Okay.
That you can ride around like he's a
Yoshi
motorboat.
Lapras.
He's a Yoshi Lapras that you can cruise around on. It's super fun. Everything's a cat, because everyone loved the cat suits from Mario 3D World. So Bowser's Fury is like, what if literally everything was a cat? The lighthouses are cats. The seagulls are cat seagulls. It's fucking adorable.
Okay.
And there's Giga Bowser. He's a big giant. Bowser got gigantified. They Gigantamaxed Bowser into Giga Bowser. And he's so big and mean and so scary. And when he attacks you, it plays like metal. and you're like, oh shit, Mario's gonna fucking die from Giga Bowser right now. I need to get Mario out of here. And it rains when he attacks. It's like, oh, the sky goes dark. The sky goes dark and it starts raining and it starts playing like metal music, and you're like, uh-oh, it's Giga Bowser's here. Just great. It is really the most fun. I probably had more fun with Bowser's Fury than like Mario Odyssey. Just for not as long, because it's not as long, but frankly, that sounds like a bonus to me.
How long would you say that is?
Bowser's Fury?
Yeah.
It's definitely gonna depend on how quickly people make it through the content. It might be one of those like highly variable things, but I'd give it, maybe 10 hours.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I feel
what's
like
the cost to entry? So if you don't already own Super Mario 3D World, you've got to buy that and then buy Bowser's Fury.
Yeah, I think you have to buy. Well, it's just one package. The game is called Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. I don't think there's any other. You can't Sorry, 3D World has only been on Wii U. This is its first time on Switch.
Oh, so they're porting this game.
Yes.
Plus adding in Bowser's Fury.
Right. And that's part of what was so shockingly fun about it was I thought this was just a port of Mario 3D World, but here's some extra levels because I guess so the one person who had this game on Wii U, that's me, is going to need something extra to want to play this game, but it turns out the something extra,
this is like a little,
frankly, could have been its whole own game because it's way better.
This is like a little orange box situation where people are buying
it's a little orange box.
The orange box to play Half-Life, and then what's this portal thing?
This is the portal of 3D World Bowser's Fury. Bowser's Fury, it's great. Number 3, Splitgate. Oh, jeez, Keith. Imagine. Okay, Keith.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Okay.
Could you imagine something for me?
It's been 6 years since the Halo game came out. Imagine
it's been. Yeah. Imagine it's been 6 years since a Halo game came out.
No Halo games are on the horizon.
And 9 years since a Portal game came out, and then they made a Halo game where every Master Chief has a portal gun.
Sounds really good.
That's Keith's brain exploding. Yeah, it's really good. It was really, really good. And I played a bunch of it this year, and I had a lot of fun.
Nice.
Yeah, it was great. Splitgate, good times, huh?
Do we have anything to say about Splitgate, or are you just done talking?
Boy, you shoot a portal across the map that's like behind everyone, and then you shoot another portal right next to yourself. And then you can just snipe people from behind from across the map. Are you kidding me? Good stuff.
So I'll say this about Splitgate is that it's free. And so if you haven't tried it, go try it. But also that is also true of Halo Infinite. So if you haven't tried that, go try it.
Wow. Yeah. You
should play more Halo Infinite.
Halo Infinite, I really did enjoy both of these games pretty much equally. And I admit I probably am giving, kind of like how I give Bowser's Fury a little extra credit because I wasn't expecting anything from it. I'm also not expecting some random free-to-play game that's trying to copy Halo to be as good at the Halo part of it as Halo, but it got really close.
Yeah, it did.
I mean, really the thing is it just doesn't have vehicles.
Yeah, no vehicles, no grenades. The melee isn't the same.
They have grenades, but the grenades only blow up portals.
I would say I don't think enough people noticed this, but for how much Halo it was, I feel like it was basically equal parts Call of Duty. The trappings of it were very Halo, but the actual shooting was much more Call of Duty to me.
Disagree.
We talked about this. It doesn't have vehicles. Call of Duty also doesn't have vehicles. The grenades are not as important. The meleeing works like Call of Duty does in Splitgate, or at least more like it than it does in Halo. And the time to kill is much lower. The gun feel is more Call of Duty a lot. I mean, the gun feel is not like Halo at all. But the guns themselves were very Halo. They had a battle rifle, and they had like the Halo shotgun, and the sniper rifle was sort of like a Halo sniper rifle.
You see what I have to deal with? I'm trying to do a podcast about the greatest games of the previous year, and I have some fucking yahoo coming in here saying shit like the guns in Splitgate don't feel like the guns in Halo.
They don't.
And how the fuck am I going to get my art out there with this kind of impediment?
It shouldn't even be controversial, but it is, I guess.
God. You son of a... I don't even want to say. And now we get to my... Oh, I'm sorry. The real reason that Splitgate is above Halo on my list is because...
Played more Splitgate.
Yes, I played more Splitgate. But also, in Splitgate, they have a big fucking bat that you can hit people with. That's sick. And then on top of that...
It's just a hammer instead.
But on top of that, I got the privilege of paying money for a giant corn cob skin for my baseball bat. So now my bats are always giant corn cobs.
Like a corn cob pipe, or just just a corn cob?
Just a regular corn cob with the husk, some husk.
So it's not really a corn cob, it's just a whole corn. An ear of corn.
Yeah. Sorry, my baseball bat is an ear of corn with husk.
Thank you.
You ever watch that classic series Ear of Corn with Husk? Anyway, my number 2 game here. We're moving on to my final 2, and I have to admit, the number 1 is just a weird year for my list. I feel very weird about the games that I have at number 1 and number 2. Like I kind of feel like my number 2 could be my number 1. But then I feel like...
Well, why don't you take a second and figure it out?
Well, I have been taking seconds. I've been taking more than one. But I just don't know. Sometimes a game on my list, it's like it becomes number one. And I'm like, I don't know about that. Is that really the game I liked the most this year? I don't feel like it is. But then every time I think about putting it lower on the list, I'm like, no, it should be up there.
I've never had that problem.
Oh. Okay.
Huh. The closest was the year where I had to put Outer Wilds ahead of Disco Elysium.
Oof.
But
you made the right choice.
I made the right choice, and it was like the one or two. I'm like 80% sure it should be the way that it is, and I feel good about it. But I feel like every year I go, this is my number 1. Definitely, this is my number 1.
Most years I think I feel that way, but this year,
well, I'm curious what
they are. Tough year. It's our second year of quarantine. Our second year of pandemic. Second full year.
So none of
the number at the end of our current year is 3 higher than the number at the end of the disease.
Is one of them
that is
Hitman
currently
3?
Ravaging our planet? Sorry, what?
I'm trying to figure out what they are, and I'm like, maybe Hitman. No, you didn't even play it. You didn't play Hitman, so it can't be Hitman. It can't. It's not Halo because you already said Halo.
Well, you don't have to guess. We are about to get to them. As soon as I decide which one comes first.
It's not about having to guess. It's about getting to guess.
All right. It's
not a Yakuza game.
I just feel... Oh, but then I am forgetting, aren't I?
Wow.
Okay.
I'm so intrigued.
There was more. I'm now remembering some earlier logic in my list making that I had forgotten about. All right. Yeah.
Do you like to
I'm fine with
present them jointly?
No.
But
But
by that, I mean, do you want to
take
get
one
high
more
before you tell us?
Dude, I've been wanting to get high since we started this podcast, and I only have a few more minutes left to go.
I think maybe a little bit more than a few minutes, but yeah.
We've only got 2 or 3 more minutes. And now we're going to move on to my number 2 game of the year, Hell Let Loose.
Oh, I totally forgot about Hell Let Loose.
Yeah, you totally forgot about it, you dummy.
Yeah, that's fine.
Hell Let Loose was.
It doesn't
It's
exist.
It's
Yeah,
fucking over now. It does. Don't even try to look this up. It's fucking gone.
And I did it. It was me.
Yeah, it was Keith.
I ruined
Hell
it for
Let
everyone.
Loose is a World War II themed multiplayer online shooter.
Sim?
Where? What's up?
Sim?
No.
War sim?
Well, so it's definitely more. Maybe Sim's not. I don't know that Sim is the right word.
That's why I asked it like, Sim?
Yeah, and that's why I went no. I think what is this game? I think this game can be better described as a sort of hybrid between a competitive online shooter and like a strategy game, because some people on your team, like the command, like so like it's 100 on 100 teams. The teams be 100 people versus 100 people. And each team is separated into squads. Every squad has a squad leader, who is meant to be the leader of the squad, who can give commands. They can use a microphone and say to their squad, "Hey, you should do this," and the squad can listen to them if they want. But crucially, the squad leader gets a special microphone, mic chat channel for what is it? What is it called? The fuck?
Captain's chat.
Officer chat. Officer chat. They get access to officer chat where the the up to 10, I think, officers can all speak to each other, and they can all talk to the commander. The commander is the one person on the team that has, obviously they're supposed to be in charge of the team. They have a bunch of commander-specific abilities that they can implement to help their team with certain things, like airstrikes and artillery. I don't know, because I've never been the commander, because it's really hard is the point. You have to learn. The commander's playing almost a different game, and so you need to really know what you're doing to be able to do that, and I never got that far, frankly. But I did try my hand at being a squad leader, and that was a lot of fun. So I mean,
you were a squad leader when we played.
That's true. I was a squad leader of a squad of 2. In that situation, I did an abysmal job because we were supposed to be a recon team.
No, and you didn't do an abysmal job. We had a terrible.
It was both.
We had a terrible commander who was both not telling us what to do and where to go, but also not listening to you when you tried to ask for things.
True. And this is why I was pull back the curtain a little bit. This game,
Kylie, 93 hours of The Witness on a record, huh? That's so much.
Wow. Don't look at how many hours I have on Honey Pop. Can I tell you that number was a lot lower last night? It was 85 hours last night or something. Good game. What a tremendous. Have you played The Witness?
No.
Boy, I mean, I don't know what you would think of it, but it's just so good.
Do you remember a little while ago when I was like, oh, Jonathan Blow said some weird shit and came out as an anti-vaxxer?
No, I don't remember that.
Okay, well, earlier I had said that, and I won't say that he was an anti-vaxxer then, but I will say that that's the vibe I've always gotten from Jonathan Blow, and so I didn't want to play his games because he just seemed like that kind of guy.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's really all it was like I played Braid and I thought it was like pretty good, and then it got to the end and I thought actually it was really kind of creepy. And then like the more and more I learned about Jonathan Blow, the more I was like, this guy seems like he kind of sucks. And then his game came out and I was just like, I don't want to play that because I think Jonathan Blow is at best extremely annoying. And at worst, a kind of like weird freak. And I feel slightly
That's
vindicated.
not fair at all, Keith. At best, he's creating the greatest puzzle game ever made. Then
Sudoku?
And then at not his best, he is being extremely annoying and other things, apparently.
Yeah. So that's basically it. I just got bad vibes from Jonathan Blow from forever ago. And actually, if you listen to like super, super long ago when that game was new, I said basically as much, that Jonathan Blow seems like he sucks. And again, you know, I don't want to convince anyone not to play a game because I think that some guy sucks, but that's why I never played it.
I see. Yeah, that's it's too bad. Too bad.
I don't even know really what you do in it. There's like a computer. There's like a series of computers.
It is, you know, it's most closely analogous to Myst. It's an island where you walk around and there's puzzles, but unlike Myst,
there's no really awesome FMV story.
There is no awesome FMV story. Well, okay. The game is certainly not devoid of FMV, but it does not have an FMV story, good or bad. I mean, it's basically a game where there's TV panels, computer panels all over this island that you're walking around on, and the panels have puzzles on them, and you do them. But of course, the game, you know, what makes the game great, it's not what that sounds like. That doesn't sound like anything. And that's what's so fantastic about The Witness, is it starts from just the most nothing concept ever. And it really just runs with that in like every permutation that they can come up with. And I was kind of, I was describing it. Oh, you know what? We had Austin on, or I had Austin on because you weren't on the Witness spoiler cast because you didn't play The Witness. Austin was on the Witness spoiler cast, and he made this really interesting comparison, this point about like French gardens versus British gardens, and how British gardens are kind of about sort of obfuscating the human hand that created them and just trying to make something that appears naturally beautiful on its own, whereas like a French garden is more about just kind of displaying, I don't know, impressive craftsmanship or something like that.
Trimmed hedges and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. And The Witness is essentially like the greatest British garden of a video game ever. Like the more you play it, the more you realize like at first you think a lot of the environment is just set dressing. But then the more you play it, the more you realize that like practically every leaf and twig on the whole goddamn island was placed just so, to the point where just like every time I play that game, I am continuously blown back by like how meticulous like the whole game is, and just how much the people who made it would have had to, you know, think and consider and work and iterate upon the whole thing. It's a fucking work, man. And it wasn't just made by Jonathan Blow, even though the audio logs that he put in at the end of the development process are embarrassing and cringy.
Do you get to see his pee jar?
Fuck yeah, you get to see the pee jar, bro. You know all about The Witness. What did you think I meant when I said there was FMV in there?
Do you see him filling it up?
No, Keith. It's just I mean, it's not.
I don't need to see the dong. I just wanted to see maybe a back view of a stream hitting a jar.
Well, no.
I'm not asking for full frontal. I just want to hear the sound of a warm froth filling up a glass jar.
Keith, I don't make me give away the witness, Keith. But suffice it to say, no, you don't watch Jonathan. You don't watch a stream of urine from Jonathan Blow enter and fill any kind of jar. But I won't say that the game is devoid of pee jars. And that's all I'll say. It's not devoid
of... In what way are his audio logs embarrassing and cringy?
Well, apparently...
So you can tell the part of this I'm interested in. It's the part where Jonathan Blow sucks.
Jonathan Blow sucks. Well, I think originally it was going to be filled with, like, something about, like, audio logs that were maybe, like, journals of his from the course of making the game or something. Like, maybe the audio logs are going to tell, you know, the journey of the construction of this game or something. And I think he got to the end of the development process and kind of realized, like, that's stupid and not interesting. And instead he filled it
Maybe he realized he didn't work on enough of the game himself to...
and so the final... The audio logs that are in the final game are like... They are people reading real-life writings from people like Albert Einstein, from people like some astronaut, like people like some guy who gives a shit about Zen Buddhism, and the competing Japanese schools of Zen Buddhism, and some of them, they just kind of seem like pieces of writing that touch upon an idea that Jonathan Blow thinks is interesting and worth considering. And a lot of
Alan Watts? Is the Zen guy Alan Watts? That's so funny. It definitely is.
I don't know, but maybe.
Is he British?
I don't think any of them were read by the person who wrote them, so I don't know.
Alan Watts is really funny. He's like
okay, hang on.
Okay.
Can you say that after the what was I?
Okay, there's a reason why I want to say this.
All right, go ahead.
Alan Watts is really funny because he's sort of a casualty of like really lame dudes. Where like I don't find Alan Watts's work particularly objectionable. I actually think he's a great speaker and he explains difficult concepts really well. But he's the kind of guy that you only ever hear total douchebags and morons like. It's sort of he's sort of like the intellectuals Rick and Morty, where it's like,
oh boy,
you know,
wait, you mean Rick and Morty?
Yeah, sure, thanks. I don't particularly, I'll say this. Okay, I like that first Rick and Morty season. I don't particularly like Rick and Morty as a whole. I think it gets pretty much worse and worse. But I can understand how someone would go, I love Rick and Morty, I just hate the people that like Rick and Morty. And I think that Alan Watts is that for guys who think they're... Oh, no, because Rick and Morty is also for guys that think they're smart. I'm trying to figure out a way that the Alan Watts fan base and the Rick and Morty fan base are different, and I'm struggling to. So I guess suffice it to say that Alan Watts is the Rick and Morty's fans philosopher.
Good stuff. Yeah, so I think that when I played through The Witness, I listened to the audio logs I found, which I don't think was all of them or whatever, but it was most of them. And I came away from it being like, I don't know what the fuck any of this is about. What was any of this trying to say? And maybe in a sort of Beatles kind of way, maybe it wasn't really trying to say anything. But also I listened to Jonathan Blow was on like... was on a podcast talking about The Witness like shortly after it came out, And yeah, this was when I learned Jonathan Blow was annoying, was that he basically talked about, like, I forget how this came up in relation to the game, but he basically talked about how Jonathan Blow isn't a religious person, but he thinks atheists are really annoying. You know, he's that guy who's
I'm kind of that guy.
Okay, fine, but he okay. I guess Jonathan Blow's not annoying. I'm sorry.
No, Jonathan Blow also is annoying.
But yeah, so I just remember him saying, like, he's not sure he believes in God. He's basically like a categorical agnostic or something. And
Okay.
he thinks, like, he feels like all atheists are really annoying because, like, none of them ever tried to, I don't know, disprove anything, or they feel like they're
this is still annoying.
Like he thinks atheists they're annoying because they're as sure in the non-existence of God as really devoutly religious people are convinced of the existence of God.
I'll say this now. The thing that's more annoying, I shouldn't say more annoying. This kind of agnostic is just as annoying as the annoying kinds of atheists.
Exactly. He's just another annoying person on this continuum.
Right. He's just like putting on atheists that they're annoying because they're just like, yeah, there's no God, and being like, you're so sure of yourself that you would know.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, I just don't really think about it.
Yeah, and so now when I'm playing through The Witness, I can see, oh yeah, a lot of those audio logs, like more than I maybe realized, are like kind of about that thing. There's one that's from like Albert Einstein that is basically about this very thing, where he's like, here's how I imagine, how humanity is in the universe, and it's like a child who's in a library, a child who can't read, who's like in a library, and they see all the books on the shelf, and they can intuit that there's some kind of logic behind the organization of the books and the meaning of the books, but they can't figure out what that is. And like that, and to me, that's the only intelligent stance to have on the existence of God, is something like that. Is just basically just to say we don't know. And like, and I listen to that and I go, yeah, that sounds pretty smart. That's from Albert Einstein. What Albert Einstein didn't say was atheists are really annoying because they're so sure of themselves.
Yeah. The last a kind of guy that really frustrates me is like the agnostic spiritual guy, who's like really curious about religion, but isn't really religious, but is like claims to be spiritual. And like it's funny because that sort of agnostic like does the same thing that the annoying version of atheists do, which is that they basically just use they basically just use their position to like apologize for the shitty things that happen in the world. Like there's a lot of atheists who there's a lot of atheists who ended up becoming like famously pro Iraq war because they're like, religion is bad and like Islam is the worst of the bad religion. Like this is like the Bill Maher thing, or
fucking Bill Maher. God damn it, Bill Maher.
Yeah. And so when I say atheists are annoying, it's the people who are like constantly trying to prove, like talk about and prove. It's the people. Honestly, it's the people that Blow is talking about, which is like people who fucking can't shut up about how they're atheists and how God is stupid and people that believe in God are stupid. Like those people suck. It's super annoying. Everyone knows that no one believes in God. Like I think every atheist should realize that no one believes in God because they grew up, turned 30, learned about God for the first time, and said, that sounds true. And it didn't happen to anyone ever.
Yeah.
But then he just does the exact same thing where he just like he seems to just be like doing his weird crusade against a group of people based on a thing that he thinks they do that they mostly don't do. I don't know.
Yeah. So it's too bad because Jonathan Blow being kind of an annoying whiny baby and now possible fucking weird anti-vaxxer, I guess. Or I guess confirmed anti-vaxxer.
Confirmed anti-vaxxer.
Possible. It's too bad because all of that mars the otherwise immaculate game The Witness. 92 hours and chugging.
That's your number 2?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, my number 2 was Hell Let Loose. We got kind of sidetracked.
I forgot. No. I forgot that. I couldn't remember if you had already done your number 2. That was your number 1, was The Witness.
No. That was an honorable mention. I don't know how we got on The Witness.
What?
How did this happen?
I don't know.
I honorably mentioned it earlier, so I don't even know how we got back here.
I sort of forgot.
Wow.
There's a weird disconnect in this vaccine mandate debate. There are many still pretending that COVID-19 is of natural origin, which gives such mandates a different feel than they otherwise have. If a state entity does an oopsie in a lab, then forces its citizens to undergo an experimental treatment because of the oopsie, while suppressing news of side effects and also denying that the oopsie is anyone's fault, that's just abusive?
That's just abusive?
Yeah, the question mark is Blow's, not mine.
Thank you, John. It's incredible. We're blown away by your intellect.
Yeah.
Anyways, Hell Let Loose. It is a large scale team based World War II shooter a la a Battlefield. And so it's this chain of command that I mentioned earlier that it really sets it apart from Battlefield. And there's been like Battlefield games in the past where I think there was at some point like a commander role that I think existed in Battlefield or something, but it was never like it is in Hell Let Loose, where Hell Let Loose, there's, like I said, there's different abilities that the commander can do. But really, I think what's so fascinating about it is it's a game where you really do have to communicate and you have to work together as a huge team in order to win. And that can sometimes lead to really frustrating outcomes if you're just playing if you're playing in a team that is like 99 people that just want to say nothing and shoot people like it's Call of Duty. But then if you're in a team where everyone's communicating well and you have a good commander with good ideas, it can just be like some of the most like fun and exciting stuff that I've experienced in a video game recently. Like I've kind of been like, maybe not like explicitly, maybe even just subconsciously, like I've been kind of like really wishing that there was some kind of game like this that came out. Like I just always wanted to see like what would...
Oh, good news. Hell Let Loose. It's exactly like this.
It's exactly like this. Is, what would this game be, shooter team-based game be like if there was some kind of chain of command in this way? And it's cool, but it's also a very complex game. You have to learn, you got to learn your roles, if you just, try to, you need 3 people to operate a tank. If you try to drive a tank by yourself, people are going to get mad at you, especially if you don't know what you're doing. If you're the world's greatest person who really can just rock a tank by yourself, then maybe the more power to you, but that probably won't happen. Then there was that time when you and I were recon, which means it's a 2-person squad of a sniper and a spotter, but I had no idea what recon's role was even supposed to be really in the game, so it did not go well.
And you also were not super effective at doing the spotting.
Right, exactly. I was also not good at that. I
was okay at the shooting.
Sure.
But not great. It was hard. I got a few kills.
It was tough. Keith I tried to get Keith to play Hell Let Loose and enjoy it, but unfortunately Keith was with me, so it didn't go well.
Yeah, we did lose 3 games.
So, and I think Hell Let Loose has, it's kind of the same drawbacks as maybe like a MOBA. You know, it's like the game takes 45 minutes, and actually you could tell from minute 10 that you probably weren't going to win because your team wasn't working together like very well. Like those kinds of losses are disappointing, but you know, just the fun that you feel when everyone's working together well, it's just so great. And yeah, I think that like outweighs the
we had
downsides
part of
to
our
it.
problem. Part of the thing that didn't work for me was we had a really hard time getting in a game together because I wanted to be a sniper, because I like to play a sniper, and because it's a shooter. A billion other idiots, and they're all idiots, but I'm smart and good. They all want to do that when obviously it should be me that's the sniper.
Obviously, it should only be Keith.
Right. And so it was really hard to find a game where we could both be recon together. And like we were having trouble even like getting a game. Like it was like the ones that were full were full, and the ones that were empty were not filling up very well.
Right. This is a game that will benefit you immensely if you have like a clan or something, because it's a 100 on 100 game. So like it doesn't really work if you only have 15 on 15. So like every server is either completely full or totally empty. And sometimes it can take a while to just find the right one to join.
Yeah, it's a game that I think would benefit from a lobby system.
And this and all these things are why it's not my number one as I originally planned, I guess. Is it's like hard to put a game at number one when sometimes playing the game looks like sitting on a server menu, a server list for 20 minutes and just going in and out of lobbies and sighing frustratedly. But also, I didn't take the but then I didn't take the extra step of like finding any kind of clan or something. I almost did.
I heard the way that you talked about it, and then the place I heard of it for the first time was Rob Zachney on Waypoint was talking about it, and it was a game that I really wanted to like. And there's definitely a lot of stuff that happened when we were playing that I thought was interesting. But I think it probably just was like not for me specifically.
Might not be for you. It's not.
It might be a game that eventually I should. Maybe eventually I'll try being like an infantry person or something.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, let's be honest. Keith is
a lone wolf.
Keith is most truly himself when he is the lone wolf that is racking up more kills than anyone else on his team, and Hell Let Loose is very much the game where lone wolves can't really do anything. You will die a lot of times and often not know how or why, because it's war, man, and fucking sometimes you just blow up from an artillery shell.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're just dog food. And so, you know, you really, I think you have to be in Hell Let Loose for the teamwork and not just for shooting people, or it just won't be as fun.
Yeah,
as
and it's just
other
bad
games.
luck that the times that we tried to be there for teamwork, the commander was not there for teamwork.
Yeah.
Number one.
You know what? Let me take a real quick break.
Okay, me too.
And I'll be right back.
Okay, I'm back.
Oh, wow. Welcome back.
I'm back and I'm angry.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I'm fucking ready to go.
Is there anything I can do? Can I help? How do I help?
No, I've got pizza in the toaster oven. That's going to help.
Oh, okay. All right. So I'll just get through my last game and then we'll be free to go.
No, because then we got to do the combined lists.
Yeah, I know. My number one is Metroid Dread.
Really? Oh, I forgot. I was like, racking my brain trying to figure out what your number one is. Wow, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
No one else liked that game.
That's not true.
Yeah, everyone hated it. No, it's not quite true. It's not quite true.
I basically didn't listen to any video game podcasts this year, so as in terms of the game podcasts that Keith and I tend to listen to, he could be right. I don't know.
This was basically on the Nextlander like most disappointing list.
Wow.
It wasn't
Holy
really.
Shit.
It was like they called it the I wish it was better list.
Man, I don't know. That's fine. Listen, people can be wrong. These Nextlander, you know what the problem with Nextlander is when it comes to
name?
Metroid Dread? Besides the name. The problem is that these motherfuckers had Super Nintendos when they were 13, and so they're incredibly attached to the not nearly as good as people think it is game of Super Metroid.
Yeah.
And so nothing will please them.
Yeah. Well, we've talked about it. The thing that I still don't really even know what this means, but the thing that I saw over and over on Twitter and in podcasts was the like stealth sections. I can't even remember the names of the robots.
Emmys.
The Emmys. Yeah, it was the Emmy sections. And then I saw people not liking how much you had to retread and like how the like map like didn't sync up in ways that made it efficient to walk around when you unlock new areas. And was there a lot of like was there like a radio menu or something to like change your loadout?
If someone's complaining about radial stuff, maybe they're complaining about the radial aiming in the game.
No,
maybe
I think there was something about like abilities, like how you change abilities. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm misremembering that.
I don't know. But I thought Metroid Dread was very good. It's also pretty cool that it even exists because Metroid Dread was a game that was canceled before it was announced, and then I think we heard like, oh, they had a game called Metroid Dread, or maybe it was people heard about Metroid Dread before it was announced, and then later they heard that it had been canceled or something like that. And I don't know if they kept very much from the original stuff besides the name. But I think it's very cool that in this way of like this game finally came out after like 14 years or something. But I thought it's my favorite 2D Metroid game so far. I love the way it controls. I think, Samus runs super fast, and her jump doesn't slow her down like it does in other 2D Metroid games, which is just like a very small quirk of Metroid controls that always really irked me. Just kind of like petting a cat backwards kind of thing. It just literally, I guess that's what rubbing you the wrong way means.
Yeah.
Boy, I do agree. The stealth sections, not necessarily the strongest parts of the game, but I think that they served to break up the otherwise rather samey, non-stealth stuff in an appropriate way, you know?
Okay.
So, yeah. It's not the greatest thing that's ever happened. Stealth is almost not even the right word for it because it doesn't play like a stealth game in the way. It's not fucking Mark of the Ninja or anything like that. It's more like at certain points through the game, there will be a section of the map that's like, listen, this is the shit's on fire as soon as you walk into this area of the map kind of thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I think it did a great job. It tells a little story, but it's not stupid like Metroid Prime 3 or Other M or Fusion. It's not stopping you all the time to feed you that story in a way that's frustrating like Other M or Fusion. They redesigned Samus's suit. I think it looks really cool. And yeah, I just thought it was a fun game to explore. It was brutally difficult, and actually I'm remembering that the word isn't even really appropriate for me since I'm still stuck on the final boss.
Damn. Oh yeah, I heard the final boss was brutal.
The final boss is totally brutal. It is, the gameplay in... I feel like Metroid has kind of always been this way, where, even though...
Well, speak on that.
we think of Metroid as, you know, I feel like the Metroidvania genre, maybe more because of Castlevania. I think it's usually one of those games where your character is getting, I mean, your character is always getting stronger as you go through the game. But it's not one of those games where you can just rely on your character getting stronger to beat the enemies and the bosses. In Metroid Dread, you very much need to. It's kind of it's Soulsy in that way, where it's just you just need to replay the boss until you get the thing. Till you learn how to fight it, then you beat it relatively easily on your 40th attempt or whatever.
Right.
So if that's really not what you want out of a Metroid game, then maybe that's gonna put you off. But I kind of feel like Metroid games have always been really hard. I don't know. But I really responded to this one. I thought the controls were great. I enjoyed it all the way through, even if the bosses were practically sadistic. This final boss, I struggled against that final boss for like an hour at least, and then I went to like look up a strategy guide on YouTube, and it called it a 3-phase boss. And I was like, oh, no, this is only the first boss? What the fuck? But then I was watching him in the strategy guide, and I was like, oh, these are the phases. Okay, I know these 3 phases. Got it. And then I beat it, and then the boss went into the second phase. And I was like, oh, no, it really was just the first phase. and then fucking rip me. I could not figure Oh, no. I was about to say I couldn't figure out the second phase, and now I'm remembering again, that wasn't the second phase. That was the second phase of the first phase.
That's a lot of phases.
It's a lot of phases.
When they were doing their, like, rule of 3, do they, like, multiply somewhere by mistake to be like, it's rule of 3 attacks. We got to do those 3 attacks 3 times, so we're going to have 9 bosses in one boss.
All right.
3 times 3 is 9.
I'm just over here being like, people want to say Metroid Dread's not a very good Metroid game. That's fake. Sorry, that thing you're saying, that's fake. You're saying fake stuff right now. Anything else about Metroid Dread? I mean, I don't really think I have a lot to say about it. It was just a really, really good Metroid game.
Yeah.
I guess that's...
I felt the same way about my number one. It's hard to say. It's hard to be. It was just like so good that you're just like, yeah, it's just good. It's just all the way good.
Yeah, it's just all the way good. Yeah. Well, that's my 10 games, I guess. I think that's the last one.
So
right?
So read me your list again.
Wait, what is that?
Bow, bow, bow.
Is that... Can you hear that?
Yeah, I can hear that.
What is that? Wait, Keith. That's Yakuza 0's intro music.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I think my list isn't over yet. Because there's actually a number 0.
Oh, no.
That's right. Yakuza 0 is the game of the year. The game of every year. If you play Yakuza 0 in any year, it's the game of that year. That's the rules of Yakuza 0.
I can't believe you got me like this. I had no idea that was coming. I didn't even know you played Yakuza 0 last year.
Yeah, I actually played it in like January or something. But the year of 2021, I played through like 2.5 Yakuza games. I played 0, then Kiwami, and now I'm like a good portion of the way into Like a Dragon. A very Yakuza full year for me. This is also what I meant.
Too, actually, because I replayed 0 this year. Like this month, I replayed 0. But last year, I played Kiwami 1, Kiwami 2, almost all of 3, and Judgment.
Nice.
Yeah.
Those games are just so good. Speaking of a game that's just all the way good, what can you say about Yakuza 0? It's like nothing I could explain what the game is, but I can't explain why it's great, because the reason it's great is it's just great. All the stuff in it is a good version of that stuff.
I'll tell you what it is. So for me anyway, the thing that we talked earlier about, like, why I think the overarching plots of Yakuza games are good, but why I think like the games are fun to play, because the plots are only ever like 20 hours worth of an 80-hour game. And then there's all this side stuff. And the thing about it is that Kiryu as a character is extremely earnest. And so you get this really fun and funny and interesting to watch juxtaposition between the hyper serious crime drama, over the top, like action packed, story about like love and power and betrayal and honor. And you watch Kiryu reacting extremely honestly to that. And then you have a side mission where like the manager of a burger restaurant like isn't sure which of the best burgers, which of 6 burgers is the best burger, and so you have to come back every few hours to eat a new burger, and then they're your friend, and then he treats that exactly with as much seriousness as everything else, and all the explosions and saving his friends and like, risking his life
and then he probably puts his hand on his chin and says, "Wow, managing a burger restaurant is more complicated than
I never
thought."
realized how much thought goes into managing a burger restaurant."
Like, this is what's great, is that the character is literally like edified as he goes through the game. Like, he is growing and learning.
Yeah,
our boy is learning.
The other thing is that he's like this like perfect pane of glass, because he is just absolutely unkillable in a world where beating the shit out of someone is absolutely the final word every single time. And because it's a world where that's the case, and Kiryu can never lose those fights because he's an absolute monster, he just has the ultimate power, which is to like never be tricked or deceived, which is what everyone is constantly trying to do to you in those games. Because if ever anyone tricks or deceives you, you can win by simply being the strongest, which in the real world never really factors in. Like, the real world doesn't have a lot that you can gain by being really strong. But in the Yakuza games, everything ends with you being stronger. Like, you beat someone at business, well, you have to, in order to actually win, you have to fight them. Like, you trick your enemy, well, in order to actually win, you have to fight them. To like, you rescued your friend, well, in order to actually get them back, you've got to fight someone. Like, there's no time when, well, actually you've got to fight someone here isn't the answer. And so he just goes through life like a perfectly distilled glass of water, because nothing has to affect him, because he can win all contests through his fists. Yeah. Consequence free.
It's so good. It's the dramatic stuff. You're often, you're on the edge of your seat because it's so dramatic. You can't, it's so, everything's really tense and what's going to happen next. And then other times it is just the funniest fucking shit. Like, I think one of my favorite side missions that I never forgot in Yakuza 0 is like, you're walking down the street and 2 guys just pull you aside and go, "Yeah, you have the right look." And he's like, what? And they're like, "Yeah, see, we're here shooting a commercial for this restaurant, and our director just quit, but we can't tell like the producer that the director quit or something."
No, it's the producer is on strike. Okay, you're essentially acting as this is again the sort of like the politics of like mediating for the managerial class of the Yakuza games. The producers feel overworked and have gone on strike, and so you are recruited as a scab producer by the crew on the site to trick the director into thinking there's no problem, so that they can just get through the day without having any issues. And of course, the famous hothead director Kato Papillon. His name means butterfly in French. he shows up and you basically have to pretend that you know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you have to pretend that you know what you're talking about, and this is the key thing for no reason. Because these guys who pulled you aside and said, we just need you to pretend to be a producer. And they're like, you have the look of a producer. We can tell, which is hilarious because he's a brick shithouse. Like, how does he look like somebody who works on a television show? I don't know.
He has a powerful and intimidating aura.
So the thing is, through the whole day, it's a series of like, the director will be like, hey, you, could you come over here and grocer this for me? And the guys who pulled you in could just take you aside and explain what that means, but instead you just have to guess. Possibly my favorite thing Kiryu ever does in this whole game for some reason is that you grocer the thing, which means, I guess, to like prop it up vertically. There's a display to prop a display of food up semi-vertically so that it can be seen more readily, as in a grocer's establishment.
Right. And it's like displaying like food in a window.
And, you know, the director turns and goes, wow, that's perfect. You knew exactly that grocering something meant to prop it up so that the camera could see it better. And then Kiryu just smiles and nods directly into the game's camera and says, it was obvious. Just like...
But then do you remember what happens basically immediately after this set of three things you have to guess?
No.
You go outside and Kato goes like, wow, you did so good for a rookie. And then he's like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, I obviously know that you're not a producer, but thanks for filling in. You really helped. And then the producers show up and go, you haven't been treating us fairly. You haven't been paying us what we're worth. Like, fuck you. We tried to ruin the shoot today. But you just hired this scab and then you beat up the producers. You just beat the shit out of them. And then Kato goes like, I might work people hard, but working hard to create art is my dream. And it's like, dog, this is a commercial for a sushi restaurant. And he's like, I'm creating art. I'm creating cinema. And everyone's like, wow, we used to think this guy was a hard ass, but he's actually just passionate. We've all learned something.
And this is what I'm talking about when I say that the problem with Yakuza Like a Dragon's politics did not materialize out of thin air.
Yeah. And I cannot stress enough how
slot car racing.
These games have like 60 sub-stories each. Yakuza 0 is different because there's two main characters, and so Kiryu has like 60 or 80 sub-stories, and then Majima has his own like 55 sub-stories. And I cannot stress enough, fully 90% of them are about like helping out some manager or small business owner.
That's weird. I don't quite remember that, but God, there's so much. There's the radio show that Kiryu writes into as Justice Kazi.
Yeah, Justice Kazi. Oh, and Majima does the same thing too, as Maji Goro 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 Goro.
Oh yeah, Goro Goro Goro. And yeah, there's a whole slot car racing side game.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite one.
Like upgrading your car and racing is legitimately super fun, but there's also like a funny, you know, character-based side plot that goes along with it. That plot gets a sequel in Kiwami, and there's so much. There's the phone, there's the dramatic answering of the phone with the phone dating thing.
Oh yeah, there's
so
the whole
much
Hostess Club mini game, which I unironically absolutely love. I love the Hostess Club mini game. It's so good.
And there's the real estate side game as well. I fucking learned how to play mahjong in this game. I swear to God, last year I played 40 hours of just mahjong inside of Kiwami and Kiwami 2. Yeah. Gosh, just a phenomenal game, and that's why, you know, I was having such a hard time deciding the position of my number 1 and number 2, because really that game that I played this year that was like, oh, that's obviously the game of the year was Yakuza 0.
Yeah. And hey, look, I don't need to bring up old beef.
Uh-oh. Here
But
it fucking comes.
someone did this a few years back and got some shit for it.
Oh, yes.
Who was that? What was that about? Do you remember maybe how that went?
Yeah. Oh, Keith, let me assure you that I've never forgotten that Keith came in here trying to fucking put his game of the year as some game that hadn't come out in that calendar year. And that game was Yakuza 0. And Keith said, no, wait. It came out on PC this year. And I said, did you play the PC version? And Keith said, no.
Wait, I think actually I did play the PC version.
No, you didn't.
Are you? I'm pretty sure I did because I had to rebuy it when I played it on Xbox like this month. Oh, so maybe I played it on PS4. That's
maybe it was
possible.
PS4. I think it came out. It was on PS4 before Xbox. I think.
Yeah, but that might be where I played it was PS4.
Yeah. And so I think in really here, this is like, this is me getting back at Keith for that.
But the twist is I accepted it with open arms.
I guess that's true.
Yeah. Well, but it means that when we do our lists, I've got to put one of my honorable mentions at number 11 so that we have the same number of games.
Well, are we going to include Yakuza 0? Because as number 0, it is the greatest and most elevated, but is also not a number 1 through 10.
Well, then how about this? How about we just pretend that my entry of the Yakuza Remastered series and your entry of Yakuza 0 are the same? Oh wait, but that still leaves me with 10 games and you with 11.
I think normally for the combined list, don't we leave off games that didn't come out in that year?
No.
I think we do.
Okay, so we can just pretend that yours didn't.
Just put Yakuza series as one entry on the list. Does that work?
You should really play Judgment.
I'm gonna play Judgment. I'm gonna listen to Band on the Run. I just need to get there in my own time.
I don't want to be greedy, but I think it's worth replaying Kiwami 1 now that you've finished Yakuza 0.
But I played Kiwami 1 after Yakuza 0.
Oh, right. I forgot. I remember now.
And the reason I didn't like Kiwami 1 is because it's not nearly as good as 0.
Yakuza 1 and 2 really grew on me this year.
Okay, well, let's see what happens. But yeah, that's part of why I skipped.
Buddy, if you don't want to get locked in here, stop running in here when I open the fucking door. Okay?
Well, I see. I don't think he cares. It's because what he wants is to be in the room and then to leave when he wants. And then to leave when he wants to leave. So he's going to run in there when you open the door to get in the room, and he's going to meow like an asshole to get you to open it when he's done.
It's not being in or out. He genuinely just wants to travel in and out.
Yeah, he just wants free access.
Come here, bud.
And who could deny that? Listen, this is
show me your passport and I'll let you through.
Uh-oh.
Oh, you don't have it?
All right, I'm going to combine these lists here real quick. Let's put Yakuza, Psychonauts, Metroid Dread. This will be great for the audio only listeners because this will be audio only even for Keith, so we'll have to over explain what we're doing in order for it to work.
Like we do what I suggested, which is, or maybe you can screen share with me at least.
Okay.
Why is that hard to do?
Well, then we'd have to. Oh well, yeah. Okay, I can screen share with you.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. I'm fucking sorry. Okay. God. There. I'm now streaming my thing with you.
Look at these lists you've got.
What's up?
You got all these gifts. I mean, lists.
Lists? Oh,
Car.
yeah. This is...
Bafe guy.
This was my list.
Required.
What?
You didn't play a game, Bafe Guy? Bafe Guy with glasses who acquired?
Guy with glasses who acquired. Wait, okay. I need to stop streaming to figure out what this is before I show you. Okay. Now I remember what this is.
I like that you didn't know what this was, but it might be bad to show me.
Listen, I don't know. Okay, what this actually is supposed to be bald guy with glasses who acquired song library. And the reason I wrote that down was because I was watching Get Back again, and I wrote it down to remember this person to talk to you about who that was.
Oh,
Do you know the bald guy with glasses who comes in with the catalog of songs, of Gilded Age songs that they just bought or whatever? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Hold on one sec.
What am I holding on for?
Okay, I'm back. Oscar jumped on Cricket. Isaac opened my door and he ran out and jumped on the other cat. Which is rare. He does not normally do anything like that.
Yeah, you can tell it was a mistake because usually what most cats least want to do is have any interaction with any other creature. So it was really a mistake.
Yeah. Recently she's been chasing him, which is new.
Okay.
He likes it though. He's like, "Come on, chase me." And she's like, "No, I'm terrified of you."
Okay. Here's our combined list. Yakuza, Psychonauts, Metroid Dread, MLB The Show 21, Hell Let Loose, Halo Infinite, Splitgate. Fucking God. Okay, typing is really hard. Then we had The Forgotten City.
You're streaming with me your Discord.
My Discord, my Discord window. Mm-hmm. Okay, that makes sense. There we go. This is working now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The Forgotten City. We had mine was Halo Infinite.
Okay, I don't want to do it, but I've got to ask you to strike Yakuza 0.
I thought we're not just so we're just not including Yakuza on the list, like any Yakuza.
No, I had Yakuza on my list.
Right, that's what I just wrote. Yakuza.
Okay, but that still means that you've got 11 games on your list, and I've got 10 on mine. So that
I'm just taking the top 5 from both lists. Well, no. Okay, listen. We've taken 1, 2, 3. Wait, sorry.
Oh, you're just taking the top 5. You're just saying the bottom
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from yours so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, including Yakuza from mine. Not Halo Infinite because we both have that one. Does this how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The 10th one is Suzerain?
Yeah. Looks like it.
Suzerain, and I'll also put on Pokemon Unite because the numbers are getting confusing. So here is a list of things that are on both of our lists, and the third list currently says this: Yakuza, Psychonauts 2, Metroid Dread, MLB The Show 21, Hell Let Loose, Halo Infinite, Splitgate, The Forgotten City, Bowser's Fury, Suzerain, Pokemon Unite. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 titles. And the top is the top and the bottom is the less good.
Look, hey, I don't want to. I think that these numbers are wrong. Again, I think this Yakuza thing is messing you up.
Dude,
because you've got, right, for my list, Psychonauts 2, MLB, Forgotten City, and Suzerain. That's 4. And then you've got, and then Halo doesn't count. Pokemon Unite, Bowser's Fury, Splitgate, Hell Let Loose, Metroid Dread, and Yakuza. That's 6.
I just missed Hitman 3 is all. So Hitman 3 is on there, and it's in between, like, it's like in here. It's here. Wait. There it is.
That's 11 still.
Well,
Why
it
don't you-
was, yeah, I intentionally put on 12 things, but then you told me to delete Yakuza, so now it's 11.
Okay, how about this? Why don't we replace Pokemon with Yakuza, and then I'm happy.
I don't want to put, I'm not putting Yakuza on here.
Okay.
I want only games that came out in calendar 2021. And that's these games.
Okay, but that's
1,
still
2,
11.
3. Hey, dude, there were already 6 of your games on here.
Were there? What do you mean?
Yeah.
I have
Suzerain, Forgotten
Psychonauts,
City.
MLB, Halo, Hitman, Forgotten City, Suzerain. Oh, okay, and then you've got Metroid Dread, Hell Let Loose, Splitgate, Bowser's Fury, Halo, and Pokemon Unite. So that's 6 each. Okay, so that's 6 for both of us.
Right.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. But that totals to 11 because
Because Halo counts on both. Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And now we only have to get rid of one game, and it can be
Pokemon
MLB
Unite.
because we don't care about baseball. I think that's how that shook out. You see? Yep.
I think
that
we
checks out.
either get rid of Pokemon Unite or the Forgotten City.
I want to get rid of the Forgotten City.
Well, for the Forgotten City is an extremely unique game that plays not like almost any other game that I've played, and Pokemon
Except
Unite is a
Skyrim.
Pokemon skin of a MOBA.
Well, hey, that's not fair. There's lots of... the design is good. It's not just the skin. They had to
Sure.
design that game.
The design's good, but it's one map.
You fucker. I swear to God, I clapped that fly like 3 times and it didn't die. It's small enough that it could actually survive that.
It's one map. It's something that we've seen a lot before. Like, MOBAs have been sort of the hot shit genre for like a decade now.
All right. It's fine. Let's just all remember that fucking I was the one who generously let go of 2 of the games on my list so that Keith could have more games. So that he can continue his winning streak.
I'm sorry,
of
I
Game of
don't
the
need-
year.
Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you martyring yourself, but I did ask you to replace Pokemon Unite with Yakuza, and you said, I don't want to put Yakuza on the list.
But then we're cutting Pokemon Unite anyway. So wouldn't Yakuza have been the one to be cut?
It wouldn't be cutting Pokemon Unite. It would be replacing Pokemon Unite with Yakuza and then cutting something else.
Oh. Well, anyways. Do we want to shuffle around anything further? Do we care?
I would love... No, this is fine. I would switch Halo Infinite and Hell Let Loose. I know that you had Hell Let Loose higher, but Halo Infinite's really the only thing that we both had. So maybe you should go Psychonauts 2, Metroid Dread, Halo Infinite, MLB Hell Let Loose. Or it can be Hell
What
Let
if
Loose
it
then
goes
MLB.
Halo Infinite, Hell Let Loose, and then MLB the show?
Yeah, that's fine.
There it is. That's the list. Let's put numbers on this motherfucker. Number 10 is Suzerain. Number 9, The Forgotten City. Number 8, Bowser's Fury. Number 7, Hitman 3. Number 6, Splitgate. Number 5, MLB The Show 21. Number 4, Hell Let Loose. Number 3, Halo Infinite. Number 2, Metroid Dread. Number 1, Psychonauts 2.
Good list.
Good list. And
Strong
number
list.
0, Yakuza 0. You got fucking got again. Yes, so Psychonauts 2 is the game of the year, and Yakuza 0 is the game of
our hearts.
Every year of our hearts. Thank you so much for listening to all of this.
To
and
all
I'm saying
6
that,
hours.
I'm saying this to everyone listening, but also to myself later, who just finished editing this. Congratulations, buddy. You made it.
I'm saying this only to the people who listen to all 5 hours and 45 minutes of this and also the hour where we talked more about the Beatles.
Oh my God. When you said 6 hours, I thought that was including the hour we talked about the Beatles.
No, we have been going for 6 hours and 45 minutes total. An hour of that was Beatles only.
This is important. That is also part of Game of the Year. So if you're one of those people that's like, every year I listen to all of Run Button's Game of the Year, not unless you also listen to that hour of Beatles talk. And I don't care that you don't care about the Beatles and that we won't stop talking about the Beatles. You gotta listen.
And by the way, of course, if you like that we do stupid shit like spend 7 hours doing one stupid long podcast for you to listen to, you should go to contentburger.biz and sign up for our Patreon, where you pay us money and we pay our rent, hopefully on time.
Hopefully. Yes. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much to everybody who supports us through Patreon, even though we don't put out content regularly. And even though we both, that Run Button just hibernates from November to January.
Every winter, maybe we should like codify a break into Run Button, because every winter, it's our seasonal affective.
Seasonal affective disorder is real, and you can tell by studying the release schedule of Run Button. I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for listening.
Wait, think of a good pun for seasonal affective disorder about not recording. Seasonal?
For like snooze-nal affective disorder, because I'm so tired. All right, forget it. Just
seasonal
listen.
affective recorder.
Congratulations to Psychonauts 2, the game of the year. Congratulations to everyone who made it to the end of this podcast, and congratulations to me for finally winning Game of the Year by having the most games on my list.
You did. I don't think you counted.
Yeah, 10. I'm counting my personal list. I got 11 games in there, and it's still just a top 10. It doesn't go any higher than 10.
Oh,
no
you
one's
won
ever
by
done
having
this
the
before
most on your list?
Yeah. I think that's impressive.
My list was actually 14 games.
So,
there you go.
Because Yakuza was 4 games.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sorry, sucker.
No, I could tell that you didn't have anything in mind when you said that. Finally, it took literally over a decade. I finally managed to be the one who throws Keith at the end of the Game of the Year podcast. The truest victory possible. Thank you, everybody.
I actually think it's not cool to win Game of the Year anymore. I think it's cool to just let things be.
Yeah, and you would think that, you fucking loser. See you next year, everybody.